And so yeah, that's
finance.
why people should check out my merch at etsy.com/shop/PrinceDragonVault.
I've actually was wondering about that. Like, who does the production for your merch? Because it's an Etsy shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't handcraft those. Do you have like another company, or is there a service that Etsy provides where they'll make the merch for you?
I hand make every single item in my store. That is a lie.
Amazing.
With
I
blood,
do not
sweat,
actually do that.
and tears.
Blood, sweat, tears, and just a shit ton of money.
That's a shit ton of money. Got it. That checks out.
I believe it. I 100% believe it.
Because I know that other companies like Redbubble, they do the production of the stuff on their end. Thank you for the hydrate, Doctor Who Stitcher. Ahem.
Oh.
You're welcome.
I don't believe in annoying drinking sounds, but
You don't believe in them.
I did
They
take a sip.
exist. They exist.
I know they exist. I exist, but they aren't suitable for someone such as myself.
I
A princess, if you will.
Right, method acting. Got
Yeah, exactly. You gotta get in the headspace, right?
it. Mocha has
Or is
just
that just me?
subscribed. We'll get you a jolly jangle of cheer bell. Thank you for your subscription for 10 full months. Thank you so much, Mocha. Thank you. I'm trying to be nice with the bell because my beautiful wife is trying to rest.
Oh,
Yes.
hello, beautiful wife.
She went out and she had a fun time with kaiju. But now she has come home and she is tired. She said that she'd bring back a gift, and then she didn't. So
The gift is herself.
True.
She just yelled in the background, "I am the gift." So
Yeah, see,
We're
I
all-
knew. I'm
we're all in
100%.
agreement on that. Hello,
I
Jen.
am the greatest good you will ever have.
Very much that energy. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We're just going to chill out here for just a few more minutes, let everyone find their way in. And then we
I hope I
shall-
am not the greatest good that Alex ever gets. I hope he gets bigger and better things.
That's so gay, though.
Thanks.
Gosh.
Thanks.
Mocha
I'm
is
trying.
not the greatest good because Mocha is a person, and I will not objectify Mocha like that.
Okay.
Aw, cute.
You're squeaking so loud that your audio keeps cutting out, Tegan.
Excellent. 10 out of 10. Perfect. My microphone and Discord are doing their jobs.
But also, way to wait until we both said our shit to show us up, Raggles. Like, what the shit? You asshole. Hello, Fa. Welcome to the
Mocha
stream.
didn't even hear. Mocha didn't even hear.
Mocha
I
didn't
wasn't
even
paying
hear it.
attention. That's okay.
That's
Mocha
fair.
has work to do because they're working very diligently.
Mm-hmm.
They are, and we appreciate their hard
What
work.
do you mean? Mocha's definitely here on stream with us right now. Like
Right here.
Like can't see it yet, but Mocha's definitely here. I don't know what you're talking about being elsewhere. They're definitely nowhere else.
Mocha says Raglan can't show us up if they didn't hear it, so.
For a minute there, I thought you were playing off of my bit and gonna do like an Elmo with Rocco kind of thing. Have you seen that on TikTok?
It's just me and Rocky in real life. We just give each other shit all the time. It's good.
Love that God of Luigi art.
It's good art.
The God of Luigi art is very good.
Stitcher says, "Hey, my cat was on my chest and I couldn't reach my keyboard for a bit, but I could get to my mouse. I could get on the stream, but couldn't type. Hey, so hydrate was the best I could do to let you know I was here." Well, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Mocha, no, don't be upset. It's okay.
It's okay. We have 2 more sessions after this and we'll figure it out. Don't worry.
You'll probably have a better idea of what's going on than we will. So
True.
Honestly. And I'm the DM, so like, you know.
I have so many carrots to eat. I don't know if I could pay.
Why did you make yourself so many carrots?
why did you end that sentence with pay?
I was gonna say more words, but I decided I didn't like how that sentence was going, so I just stopped it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Question mark? I live in fear of you.
Sometimes I'll just realize what I'm about to say is bad. I'm like, well, just stop. Just don't say it.
I
You know?
suppose, but sometimes the fact that you don't even try to save it implies more about what the statement was going to be than if you had tried to like veer it off to a different endpoint.
Mocha, no, you're not fully getting removed.
Of
You'll be
course
back.
Not. No.
Next time. No, it's okay.
You're just not available
What?
this
No.
week, and that's okay. I'm temporarily treating Goomp like an NPC. I mean, you're definitely here, and Goomp is definitely being run as normal.
Stitcher, the cucumber was delicious. For those who don't know, I ate a cucumber earlier.
Damn.
I wish I had a carrot that made chips as good as the carrot chips that you have, Raglan, because I do only eat orange food, so.
To clarify, these came in a bag. Like, I bought these from a store.
Oh, where'd you get them? What?
Safely.
Ooh, okay.
Hello, Miko the boy. Welcome to the stream. First time chat from Miko, no less. Hello. Arrive. Is that how you keep your hair orange? How you keep your hair orange, Tegan?
That's what my grandma used to tell me, is my hair was so orange because I used to eat carrots all the time when I was a kid.
That's very
Turns out
cute.
it just grows out of my head this way.
Oh,
That's very cute.
crazy what science is doing these days.
I know, right? She also used to tell me that eating the crust on your toast and on your like bread made your hair curly.
That's cute, though. That's kind of cute, actually.
It worked. I ate all my crust because I wanted curly hair so bad.
Aww.
I still want it, considering a perm. Nervous about it, though, so haven't committed.
Understandable. I mean, I have naturally curly hair, and it's mostly a hassle for me, so like I can't even really say much. It's very much a grass is greener situation, you know?
I mean, I'm a ginger with non-curly hair, and I just see all these gingers with like big, tight spiral curly hair, and I'm jealous, you know?
Understandable.
Because I have the wrong ginger hair.
All right, let's
I have
go ahead
Weasley
and...
ginger hair, not Merida ginger hair.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. You guys ready?
Sure.
I sure am.
Okie doke. Boop. Howdy, farmhands. My name is Gata, and welcome to the stream. We are once again back here on our sound stage to play some Donkey Kong Country tabletop role-playing game. We're playing Escape from Kong Country. This is our second episode. The first one was over a month ago, so if you've forgotten what happened, you are not alone. You are in good company. Don't worry about it. I am joined today by my good friend Tegan. Say hello, Tegan.
Hello, Tegan.
I am joined by Mocha Mage, who is definitely not a cardboard cutout. They are definitely here. I am also joined by Prince Raglan. Say hello, Raglan.
Hi.
You thought way too hard about how you were going to like attach something onto that.
Yep.
Oh well. Mocha's definitely here and definitely speaking. We are playing a game called Steel in Spirit by Occupied Hex. It's a very simple game. Everyone here has made a character from the Mario universe. They have a single stat apiece, and whenever they want to attempt to do something, they roll a series of d6s based on whether or not their action is emotional or logical. And that's Steel or Spirit, conversely, actually. Hello, Aya. Welcome to the stream. This stream is going to be a bit different than the normal streams. I'm not going to be as interactive with chat because I will be focused on being the DM and telling the story. But please do still put stuff into chat, still talk with each other, still spam emojis. The little audience at the bottom of the screen will react when you guys put emojis into the chat box. So whenever something cool happens, make sure to let us know about it. And we'll have the little doodads guys in the bottom. They'll do a little dance to show off how excited you are. There you go. You get it. You get it. Just like that. They spin little bananas around. It's very, very, very cute. Hello, Neb. Welcome to the stream.
Probably not Woda Blades. Love them.
Very cute. All right. So, first question I have for you, Tegan and Raglan, is what do you remember from the last time we played?
Everything. Because I just re-listened to it.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, let's put you in the back pocket. Raglan, what do you remember from the last game?
So we were at the airport, and we were going to our various destinations, and then we all got into the wrong plane somehow. I personally, I'm built different, so I wouldn't have done that, but our characters are not. So we got on the wrong plane, and it was headed to Kong Island, and then we got in a plane crash, and we crash landed, kinda, mostly, and then we made our way through the thick jungle until we reached a beach clearing and another smaller downed plane where we met Squawks the parrot, who told us where we were and told us about some companions of his who were out looking for scraps on the other side of the island, and about pirates who are also on the other side of the island. And then we went to a lighthouse that was just off the coast, and I threw Goomp into a shark.
That you did.
And then we talked to a mole, and the mole was a nerd, so I wasn't super paying attention, and then we left.
Okay. That's actually pretty concise. Minor detail, it's actually Talks the parrot, completely different character to Squawks the parrot.
True.
And I do not want any Donkey Kong lore aficionados to call us out in the chat if we get it wrong, so we do have to clarify that.
That is totally my bad.
Also, I see Nabila announcing that we abandoned our pilot Goomba. We did not. We abandoned a pilot Toad.
It was a yes, pilot Toad.
They were bad at their job, and so it's fine.
To be fair, there was an after-credits scene before we ended the last session where we established that the pilot Toad is alive and somewhere in the jungle.
Alive for now.
Alive for now. That definitely could change. But yeah, when we left I was actually real quick. Is there anything you want to add, Tegan, before I start the narration for the next bit?
We ended up going back to Squawks the parrot's hangout, and we guilted them into letting us bunk for the night.
That's correct. You guys kind of elbowed your way into his house, and you use him for shelter for the night. But he's mostly cool with it. Like, granted, Rama did kind of like attempt to rifle through his goods without really paying, but you guys settled that eventually.
I literally rifled.
Literally rifled, yeah. Yeah, Rama has a gun.
Huzzah!
Da-da-da-da. I do wonder what that could imply about the world building of this scenario. Oh. But anyway.
I do appreciate that you have included now a Zelda sound as well, so we know we're fully in the like Nintendo weeds here.
There we go. We go.
You know, Samus's gunship is somewhere in these woods, so
as soon as we find it. Well, I want the blaster though.
Maybe not Samus's gunship, but we'll get to that when we get to that. It takes place
F-Zero.
in World War II, confirmed. Jesus. Okay,
it's just Peter Pan. Surprise.
Anyway, yeah, you know what? I'll pretend I didn't hear Mocha say that, and we'll come to that if it comes to it. Stop spoiling the deep lore. Anyway, so you guys did in fact bunk down with Talks the parrot, not Squawks, in his beachside bungalow in the downed plane he's made a shop out of, and you slept peacefully through the night. Rama, if memory serves, you had actually taken up one of the crates of junk that was inside the plane, and you guys kind of commandeered that as your bed. How well did you sleep, do you think, in this strange scenario?
So I'm like a general in Bowser's army, so I feel like I've had my fair share of sleeping in the trenches, so to speak. You know, just out in a tent in a camp with horrible sleeping conditions because Bowser sometimes does not do logistics very well.
Right.
So I feel like in the nice cozy, crate where my body heat can radiate off the edges and back towards me, I feel like I'd be pretty snug.
Okay. You had a nice good night's sleep. Eventually, after a couple rounds of the Bob Marley CD, Talks turned off the radio he was playing, and everyone went to sleep. Oddly enough, you have all since learned that Goomp does one of those snore kind of snores, and so that was going on in your ear all night. But you slept fine. Princess, how did you sleep during the night in these odd conditions?
Miserably. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything was terrible. I'm used to a nice warm, freshly baked good sort of pillowy softness. And nothing in this half plane could have possibly met those conditions. It's very much like a Princess and the Pea scenario.
Shortstack did spend a good 20 minutes like rifling through the place trying to find like the closest thing to like soft blankets. Most of them were just like various surfboard t-shirts with like phrases like cowabunga and surfs up. Lots of tie-dye, way too much tie-dye.
It was loud and obnoxious.
Very
0
loud
out of 10.
obnoxious. She did her best, but eventually she had to admit there was only so much that she could do and pop back into your space. And also, you did have Goomp doing the snore me in your ear the entire night.
Actually, they weren't in my space. I used them as a pillow at the beginning of the night. And when I woke up, I was cuddling them like a doll, and then I put them away.
Aw.
Can't be seen like that. Absolutely not.
You get up as the morning light shines through some of the holes in the side of this wrecked plane, and you're the only one awake at the moment. And it's quiet. You can hear the beach. You can hear the sounds of the surf and the sand outside, and you consider how exactly you're going to like get up and start your day, because like there's no obvious laboratory, there's like no place for you to like primp and check your hair, like you're inside of a plane crash, when all of a sudden the relative peace of the day is ruined by a sound that I don't think I can whistle into the microphone or have Discord pick it up, but it's like a slide whistle, and then an explosion that rocks the entire plane. The plane itself stays stationary, but it feels like the ground around you has like shuddered as something very heavy has smashed into the beach nearby.
Amazing.
What do you
Terrible. I hate everything about this. Does that wake anybody else up?
Definitely Goomp, who you had placed gently on the floor, like jumps to attention, squawks, shrieks like a full-on like hyper-realistic parrot sound clip, and pops his head out of the hammock where he was sleeping. He goes, "Oh man, really? This early in the morning? Gosh!" He like covers his eyes with one of the tie-dye t-shirts he has within reach.
This is a usual occurrence then?
Not really. It's not on a daily basis, but you know, every couple of weeks, one of them decides to start. Oh yeah, I probably should mention that's another explosion like rocks the cabin, and some dust kind of shakes off from where it had collected along the roof. And Tox finishes his sentence and says, "Pirates." Can you repeat that?
Right.
You cut out.
Yeah, just in pirates. All right.
Pirates.
I'm gonna just like get up and like head towards the door. I did want to see those pirates.
You did want to see those pirates. Before we move on to that, Raglan, did you want Ramba to do anything in response to this?
Grunt, and then also head to the door.
Okay. You guys push open the door latch on the like the airlock door on the side of this plane, and the bright light from the morning sun does blast you guys right in the face. But once your vision does clear, you do see out past all the craggy rocks that are in the bay. You do see one of those wooden pirate ships, only unlike the wrecks that are like surrounding this area, this one is on the move. It has full sails. You can't really see anyone, it's too far away. But they do all have... Hello, Arya Zara. I don't really have a Gadab, actually. That should have been removed. I don't have Gadab on this scene. Why did you also redeem Gadab, Raglan?
Amazing.
I don't have a Gadab. I don't have a Gadab. Hold on.
Stream quality is absolutely shit itself. The sound is fine, just the video turned completely to pixelated blurs for a second, and I was like, oh wow, the stream is also panicking because there is no Gadab.
The stream is also panicking because there is no Gadab. Hold on, I can get one. I can. Thank you, Jun, for Gadabbing. Thank you, Jun.
A glorious
There we
Gadab.
go.
Beautiful.
I'm sure.
Nebula.
There we go. Thank you, Nebula. Hold on, we gotta.
Perfect.
There we go.
Oh no, you need a hee-ho now too.
I don't.
got a banana
Why are
clone.
you
Oh, I
doing
got two of
this? Why are you all doing this? I hate it. I hate it. Hold on. I have to manage the rewards right now, like in real time. Please. Please.
God, this is so good.
I'm begging you.
10 out of 10. 200%.
No.
Would allow again.
Hold on. I'm frantically turning off all of my redeems. You fools. You bastards.
Oh no.
What have they done? I can't see right now.
Oh, they've just set fire to the village.
No, not the village!
The chickens are out. They're running around. It's crazy.
Oh my god. We're doing this
Oh, he
because
doesn't
we
know what
love
Hee-Ho
you.
does? That's very sad.
I
want Mocha to know what that
Oh,
Yeah.
Hee-Ho turns Gata into a little Monty mole.
Yes, I turn into Farm Mole Gata, and I say Hee-Ho. Very
More
very
Hee-Ho
lovely.
has been requested.
No, that's a redeemed
Yeah,
highlight.
my message.
That's
Hee-Ho. Do one more Hee-Ho.
No, guys, you can't
Please.
just say you've redeemed something. I wasn't born yesterday.
This is amazing.
God,
I love your audience, Gata. I love your community. They're so good.
you shitheads. You little
You're
shitheads.
little chaos people.
I love you guys, but fuck you. Anyway,
Please don't fuck the audience.
please no.
Yeah, please don't do
We've had a conversation. That's not. Nope. That's a parasocial relationship. This is not an invitation. Anyway, silence you. Where were we? All right, the pirate ship.
Pirate ship.
Has redeemed family-friendly stream language. Yes, there's a pirate ship out in the bay, out beyond the rocks. You cannot see if there's anyone on it due to the distance, but you can see that it has all of its cannons, like along the side, aiming at the beach, are out and ready to fire. Before you can say anything, one does fire, and you watch the cannonball flies through the air overhead, goes right over you guys, and lands with a heavy, loud crash somewhere in the forest, in the jungle behind you. Yep.
Do they have a war with the trees? That was atrocious aim.
Talks from behind you guys, says, no, they don't really aim at anything. Just every once in a while, they kind of get a little rowdy and start firing off. I think it's like fun for them or something, the thrill of it. As long as they don't hit my shop, I don't really have a complaint, but it's kind of early in the morning for this. Ugh.
I wanna sign real quick. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Does it? I mean...
Was it?
Just sign and be like, yeah, we used to do that sometimes when we got bored as recruits.
Just
Oh.
fire cannons randomly? I mean, okay. Is it like a taboo thing where like you shouldn't be wasting the ammo and so there's a thrill, or is it like watching stuff get damaged? Like what? Like psychoanalyze this for me, man. I'm curious.
I want to sign and just sort of convey the message. Have you ever been at the top of a really tall cliff and just had a big rock and just dropped it?
There's a moment where
It's the same
Talk just kind of
feeling.
like stares into the middle distance, and then he looks back, and like in his eyes, you can tell that this bird has had like a spiritual experience just then. He's like, I never understood before this moment. Thank you so much.
I got you.
Goomp toddles out behind you guys and like shakily stares like between your guys' legs. He goes, what's I don't even remember what kind of voice to give Goomp. How do I mimic Mocha's voice doing another character's voice?
Small and cute, but not squeaky.
Right, squeaky. Paimon's voice is that's Morello. Fuck.
Nope.
That's not it.
Paimon's voice is squeaky, but so is my little pancake creature, and Goomp is not squeaky.
That is very correct. Goomp comes out and stutters.
You awakened pirate talk.
We've awakened pirate talks. We've awakened something in him. He's no longer a surfer. He's Yarhar Fiddle-dee-deed. Mocha is definitely right here and definitely not a cardboard cutout. That is absolutely 100% the scenario that we are dealing with right now. No, Mocha's mic is not working. I am the oracle.
It's amazing.
I am the oracle
Wow.
that must divine what Mocha wishes to say. Goomp comes around and stutters, is like, okay, but can they not shoot at us though? Like, I don't really like this very much. They're not gonna hit us, are they?
If they're aiming like that, they're not gonna hit us. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Even I have better aim than that.
I just realized before stream I said that Rama was a little bit like Garnet. I want to say Garnet, but
also Amethyst.
yeah, a little bit of Amethyst thrown in there.
Speaking of Rama, as the others are having this conversation, you do look back out at the ship and you notice that one of their cannons is changing position as though it's going to be firing further up into the air. And you watch as the cannon fires, there's a boom, and you see the cannonball go up and up and up, and you quickly follow with your eyes what the trajectory of the cannonball is going to be, and you notice something up in the sky. There is a large white bird flapping through the air above you, carrying something in its long pointed beak. And right as it registers in your mind, oh my gosh, that cannonball is going to hit that bird, the cannonball hits the bird.
No!
The cannonball hits the bird and slams into it before it continues going. The bird like spins around in midair as though it were like a turnstile wheel, and the force of it causes it to like rotate in place. And when it comes to a stop, it falls straight down with its own whistle going. Woo!
Oh no! Oh dear!
Is this the origin story of Mario and Luigi?
The lot of you watch as this big white bird falls. You follow it, your heads go down with a trajectory, and it lands with a big boom in the sand in front of you. It sprays up all the sand into a small crater, and there is now a bird, unconscious, directly in front of you with a bundle.
I'd like to already have a bib on comically. And have like
amazing
fork and knife out just ready.
Perfect, actually. 10 out of 10. I appreciate this the smash cut to Rama with a bib. I'm going to pull short stack out of my little hammer space. I'm gonna say good morning. Will you get the bundle please before Rama eats it?
Short Stack goes, good morning. What? A bundle. And she looks around and she goes,
Spin her around.
Is that bird dead? What?
I don't know. That's why I'm sending you, darling.
Oh, okay, all right. I can do that. And she toddles over, and she picks up the bundle, and she's holding it, and she looks down at the bird, and she goes, hold on a minute. This is a stork. And lo and behold, you all realize that actually, this white bird is in fact a stork. Now, for those of you in the audience who don't know, I think everyone here, especially Cardboard Mocha, should know that in the Mario / Donkey Kong universe, reproduction involves parents to be wishing upon the sentient star spirits for a child, and the star spirits then magicking up that baby and having it be delivered by a stork. That is like straight up the canonical explanation for how new life is created in the Mushroom Kingdom. And all of you, all the characters here, also should know this as a fact. It's like a fact of their life, you know, the stars and the storks and all that.
Excellent. Short stat, darling, bring the little baby over here.
Thank you, God, for giving us the birds and the bees talk. You're welcome. You're welcome, fish.
Let's have a look-see. I do love a fresh baby.
What?
I do love a fresh baby. Have you never smelled a fresh baby, Gata?
Oh my God. Okay,
I recommend smelling a fresh baby. They're
just
so
had
beautiful.
Rama imply he wants to eat it. So I don't know where you were going with that. Jesus.
I was trying to imply that Rama wanted to eat the bird.
The bird, yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving. Short Stack, now understanding the scenario she's in, is shakily holding the bundle in her arms, and she's like, "Oh, okay, all right. One foot in front of the other," and she slowly makes her way back over to you. The bundle in question is a blanket that has been wrapped up kind of like an over-the-shoulder sack. It's a teal blanket, and you can't immediately see anything inside, but you do see there's a weight to it, so that it is holding something.
Excellent. All right. When Short Stack brings the baby over, I'm going to scoop it up and do the let's look and see what it is. Very excited about this baby.
Goomp is standing on his tiptoes to try to see as well, but he's a Goomba, so he there's no chance of that at all. Talks, however.
I'll lean and I'll be near Short Stack, so it's not I'm not picking it all the way up. I want to see what it is first.
You unwrap the bundle, and the blanket falls away, and you are holding a very large egg.
Oh, interesting.
It is a tannish white with little speckles across it, and it's warm to the touch, but it's not moving, and it's just an egg.
I've played enough Pokemon games to know how this goes. We have to do 15,000 steps minimum before this thing will hatch.
Oh, don't forget bikes also count, so I can just be on my flying thing, just.
That's true. That's faster. But also, since it's round, you might drop it. You've also tried to unalive several things, so I'm not giving you this baby. I'm not giving you this baby. It's my baby now.
You should give me the baby as a redemption arc. To alive.
Absolutely. This is my baby. This is my baby now.
Is that kidnapping?
I think it's adoption. Also, we might actually be rescuing it from the pirates, so...
I feel like we have to relay race
kidnapping.
this baby up to the top of the island and deliver it to...
Where's it going? We gotta... maybe we should wake up the stork.
True.
That might be smart. I have the egg. I'm gonna carry the egg. It's mine.
All right. So how do you guys want to try to wake up this stork? As a callback to our last episode, it is also doing the Yamcha pose in its tiny crater.
Does that mean it's dead?
Well,
Isn't
Goomp
Yamcha dead in the Yamcha
so...
pose? Yeah, well, Goomp is also with fancy cool shoes of not dying when they fall.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go cup some water from the ocean and bring it back and just splash on its face.
Okay. You head over, you walk past it to go to the ocean. You come back with some water in your hands, and you do you dribble it down, or do you just full on chuck it full splat in this thing's face?
My hands are cupped together in the classic cupped together position, and I'm just gonna pull them apart.
Okay. The water falls down and splats against this thing's face, and its head shoots up as it is now has a face full of seawater. It sits up very quickly and stares straight ahead and blinks and then looks around at you all very confusedly.
Good morning. You were hit by a cannonball, but the egg you were trying to deliver is okay. Where is it supposed to go?
The stork squawks at you and tries to like get up, but when it tries to move, it immediately flinches in pain and goes, "Oh!" and grabs one of its wings.
I did say you were hit by a cannonball. I don't know why you assumed moving was the best solution.
Oh! It's too in pain to care.
Amazing. I have nothing for this.
The stork like tries to hold up its injured wing, but it like dangles there completely uselessly, and the stork like whimpers like, "Oh no, my wing! It's broken!
It's broken!
It's broken!"
Oh my fucking god.
The stork needs to call its manager and start the workers' comp process.
I mean, honestly.
Ooh, you know what? You know who probably has experience with bird anatomy?
Who?
The other bird in the immediate vicinity.
I thought you were going to say you because of your flying little thing.
Also,
It's
maybe
got wings on it.
Does have wings.
It does have wings.
What if what if I used a hammer to fix his flying?
No.
What? I mean,
If I use a hammer to fix his flying,
you could
then I'd get 3
definitely
dice.
try.
One for doing, 2 for hammer, 3 for flying. Oh my god, no. I don't think that's going to work, but
You could, I mean, you could definitely try. Do you genuinely want to give that a go?
On the one hand, not at all, no. On the other hand,
That's called
That'd be great.
euthanasia.
oh no.
He definitely won't have to
Alright.
worry about not being able to fly anymore.
this is another case of like I'm gonna hold up my hammer and like point to the wing and then look around and see.
No. Oh dear. No. Rama, no. I appreciate the thought, but no. Goop, can you go get the squawky talky bird man? Thank you.
Goomp, who is just happy to be included, does run off. And Tox, who was with you that entire time, watches Goomp run off, is like, I'm right here, but okay, yeah, sure. Goes, yeah, well, listen, I might be a bird, but I don't really know like medicine stuff. I'm more of a businessman, you know? So,
Wait, we could ask if he sells life or like health insurance
Oh my god.
as a businessman.
I mean, I don't. It's not really how that works. It's more of a barter system. We don't really have, like, that's not, no. I mean, I got some, like, rags and stuff that we could use to, like, tie up to the broken wing so it can heal properly, but I don't really have anything.
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. And he goes into the plane, and you hear Goom's voice being like, "Oh, there you are! I found you!" And Tox is like, "Just help me get these rags." They come out with some various tie-dye T-shirts that Tox is actively ripping up, and between the three of them, Goomp, Short Stack, and Tox working together as one, they do manage to patch up the stork pretty well. It now has a tie-dye cloth bandage that is like holding its wing up in the way that they always do in cartoons for broken arms, like a splint kind of dealio. A sling, that's the word I'm looking for, a sling.
Sling.
And the stork stands up, and it wiggles its shoulder a little bit and doesn't feel any immediate pain, and so it chirps happily and is all right. You've solved my cannonball stork puzzle.
I don't think to your cannonball stork puzzle because we still don't know anything about this egg.
Okay, well, okay. So maybe
Why
you.
did you phrase it like that?
What do you mean?
Why? I don't know. It's just phrased very well. Continue.
You're welcome. Sorry, the music has just flat out stopped for some reason. There we go. Much better.
Final Fantasy Victory music plays. I mean, possible.
All right, so the stork has been somewhat patched up, and you guys have the egg. What would you like to do?
I asked the stork where the egg was supposed to go.
The stork looks around real quick to get its bearings, and then it tries to point with its leg, and then almost falls over. So it uses its beak to point in a direction. Ooh, pardon me. Wrong pipe there. The stork uses its beak to point further up the beach, heading north, and talks, nods, and says,
Here's your working wing, honestly.
and says, so it's for the pirates then, huh? Huh, that's weird. I mean, good for them, but still. You sure you weren't supposed to deliver, say, a monkey or nothing? And the stork shakes his head no, and looks very confused as to why it's being asked that.
Are the pirates reptiles?
Huh? Oh, you don't. Oh, no, you know what? You guys are new here.
Yes, we don't. Remember, we don't live here. Hello.
That's right. I'm sorry. I just get so used to everyone just automatically knowing. Yeah, no, they're Kremlings, actually. Or maybe you know them as critters. They're crocodile people.
So they are
I immediately
lizards.
think about Koopa, my king.
How do you
My
think
King
about
Koopa.
Koopa?
Your king and boss.
What emotion
I mean,
do you feel when you think about Koopa?
Oh, that's I'm kind of reptilian. My boss is kind of reptilian. My boss is kind of a pirate sometimes. I'm thinking,
Listen.
damn, must be decent people.
Oh. Not me actively Googling what a Kremling looks like. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yep.
They're
Skip flight day for sure.
the pirates from Donkey Kong Country.
Yes, I have successfully done a Google.
Okay, all right.
I now know what they look like. Amazing.
Tegan, you fool.
Wait,
No.
I don't go here.
You don't go here. You're a Zelda fan. Come on.
Also, I'm a pastry princess right now.
That is
I
true.
definitely don't go here.
That is very true.
Yeah, Bowser does have a fleet of flying pirate ships. If anything, I might think these guys are just primitive in terms of technology.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an egg.
You have an
We have an
egg.
egg.
Stork.
A damaged stork.
Do we have to deliver the egg? What if we raised it ourselves?
Goomp
Always
looks
wanted a
Goomp looks
son.
starry-eyed and is thinking about raising a small child, imagining giving it its first toothbrush.
It could teach it how to have the best dental hygiene from a young age so it doesn't hate brushing its teeth.
Goomp quietly says to himself, alligators do have lots of teeth. He's seriously thinking about this. But as you consider raising this child as your own, the stork looks deeply offended and puffs up in that way that birds do, and squawks angrily at you and shakes its head no. It wants this thing to be delivered. And actually, it reaches out with its beak to try to take the bundle back from you.
Oh, no. Do you believe you are in any condition to deliver an egg?
Stork looks down at its wing and looks back sheepishly.
You can move in all of the directions in the air and you still manage to get hit by a cannonball. Honestly, that was not amazing flying.
Amazing flying, you say?
Does Rama
I did say
think that
amazing
if he
flying.
were the stork scenario, he would have avoided that cannonball?
Oh my god, Rama has to prove himself and be like, I will be the best stork on this island right now. And I'm gonna go impress all the other lizard people.
Talks.
You're with your superior flying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Talks looks at you guys and says, Well, I mean, if you guys are cool with like delivering the egg up to the shantytown, then like I can keep this guy here and make sure he's his wing's good. We'll let him sit down and rest. I got some like some fruit for him to eat.
I'm sorry, a shanty town?
Yeah. I don't really know what else I could add to like.
No, that won't do for a baby. All that exposed metal and stuff. That's not good for baby.
The stork raises like feathery eyebrow at you, like very unimpressed.
Not trying to impress the stork, frankly. I don't need to impress the stork.
Talk says, well, I mean, there wasn't a town there before. When the pirates got like stuck here, they used the majority of their damaged ships to like rebuild houses and stuff. So, it's kind of a mishmash, but it's not bad. I mean, I live in a downed airplane. There's holes in this.
Why don't rebuild the Okay. We'll address the logistics of taking a ship to make a town versus taking a ship to repair another ship and then leave, but later, I guess. They don't seem very well organized. I don't know if they can reasonably raise a baby, but that's fine. I guess we'll make that decision when we get there.
Rema agrees.
Gonna kidnap a baby.
You're gonna kidnap a baby, apparently.
Raise it as my own.
Goomp, who is not on the same wavelength as either of you, genuinely believes that you all are going to return the baby, and looks visibly disappointed before being like, okay, well, I mean, I can help. Yeah, I'll come with you. We'll deliver the baby to its rightful parents and not teach it about good hygiene. Maybe I can give them a toothbrush to give the baby later. Yeah.
Maybe you can teach them how to properly brush their little one's teeth.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
It'll be your first real foray in dentistry.
Knock
the
out
stars.
3 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. No
The
offense.
2 birds here wince at your very offensive phrase. Very insensitive.
Amazing. 2 birds, 1 cannonball, more like.
I don't like that one. I don't like that one. You put that one back.
Okay, I'll put it back in the bag. We'll save it for later.
But
3 birds, 1 cannonball. Oh no.
But yeah, Talks ushers the stork into the plane, and the stork gives you guys one last appraising squint before disappearing inside. And Talk says, just keep heading north up the beach. There'll be a river you gotta cross, but if you keep heading that way, you'll eventually hit the shantytown. Can't miss it. There's like, pirates and stuff. Be safe. And he closes the door behind him.
I feel like we've annoyed them. Just a feeling.
I mean, probably. I'm signing that out, by the way.
Shrug!
Yes.
Let's go! We're never going to see them again anyway. Well, we will for now, but eventually, never.
But eventually, never.
Eventually, we'll never see them again, and that somehow brings you hope.
Eventually, I will get off this island, and I will go back to my literal sweets paradise, and that will be fine.
The good Lord calls everyone home eventually, some sooner than others.
That makes it sound like I'm gonna die?
Well, you will, but they'll probably die first, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You were saying something, Raggles?
I sent you a DM in Discord.
I did see that. Yep, I've definitely seen that. Not saying no, just not going to bring it to attention like right now. If that's your goal.
Oh yeah. No, I think this is a slow burn.
Yeah, definitely a slow burn. We have 3 sessions to do it in, but it's a slow burn.
Slow burn, 200 chapters.
Don't worry.
Just I've seen the end game, and I know where that is, but obviously we're not there yet.
Right.
I want to know. I'll find out.
You'll find out. It's fine.
It'll be fine. You'll be fine.
All right, with your directive, do you guys start heading in the direction that you were pointed towards? Or is there anything else you'd want to do before you leave this area?
I mean, we should probably prepare for the journey, right? We should see if we have rudimentary supplies, right?
You are outside of the plane with all of the crates of stuff that Tox regularly sells underneath the wing.
Are you gonna steal stuff?
I don't know. I mean, do I have money on me?
As we've established, the country, the Kong country is more of a barter system.
Right, it's trading.
It's trading,
right,
yeah.
Right. I do have an infinite supply of hammers.
That is true.
That is very true.
Hammers, I'm sure, would be useful.
And they actually would be pretty useful. I'm gonna open up one crate, see what's inside.
Okay.
And depending on what's inside, either continue and leave hammers as payment, or just stop.
Sure thing. Let me pull up.
I'm gonna re-swaddle the egg and like tie it around myself, so it's like it's in like a little papoose.
Aww.
You gotta keep it close to the core, you know, so you can keep it warm.
True.
Eggs gotta be warm or something.
Rama, you pry open one of the crates. Are you trying to be quiet about it, or are you just going for it?
More on the quiet end, but not like slowly or anything.
Right. You're not trying to make a big noise, but you're not. Yeah, I gotcha. You pry open one of the crates, and similar to what you saw previously, these crates are mostly full of straw, with random bits and bobs kind of tucked around in it. You pull out what appears to be a speaker for a boombox. The wires of it kind of poking out all over the place. Not very useful to you. This crate appears to be mostly just like various pieces of electronics.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about it, and I feel like that doesn't sound useful to anyone near us. Like, no one here, especially has, you know, their hands in electronics or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess I'll leave, like, a couple of hammers. They're probably going to be sturdier and last longer than the junk in here. And then I'm going to move on to the next crate.
Okay. You rustle through the crates, and you find more of that rusted weaponry at the bottom of a couple of crates, in worse shape than the one that you got. But there are pieces of rifles. There's a bayonet blade or two, just a bunch of really old rusted weaponry.
I'll take the bayonet blades.
Okay, you take a pair of rusted bayonet blades.
And I think, again, I'll leave just a couple of hammers. Because I feel like explicitly those are more useful than rusted blades.
Tox is going to come out here and start looking through his stuff and like, well, who the fuck left all these hammers, man? Oh, god damn it.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so you take some stuff that isn't actually all that useful for your immediate goal, but gosh darling, you certainly have it, and you leave behind hammers in its place.
Yeah.
All right. With that said, Goomp and Shortstack lead the way, and you guys start heading up towards the north. And I actually have a
excellent
button that I need to press.
How many hammers are needed? Infinite, John.
Infinite.
Obviously.
Definitely.
Infinite hammers.
You guys...
There is no amount of hammers that could possibly satisfy Rama.
You guys start making your way up the beach. You notice that pirate ship that had been firing at you is in fact sailing off in the same direction that you guys are going, but it's moving fast enough that it's going to very quickly turn the corner of the cape and disappear out of sight. As Shortstack walks along, she stops for a minute and like looks up at the bright day sun overhead, and she like sweats like a smear of butter off her brow. She goes, my patty's melting. Man, this This isn't really all the vacation that I was hoping for. Are you doing okay back there, princess?
I've been better. Of course. I believe we all have. My hair is starting to like I'm gonna describe it as like wilting, but because I picture her hair as like being made out of frosting, like it's definitely getting like drippy, you know, like when frosting gets too hot and like starts to like melt off a donut or something. So it's like, we've been better, you know, we've been worse, but we will make do, I suppose.
Goomp falls back a little bit to like walk in step with Rama and looks up at Rama with those little stars in his eyes and is like, you have you ever done any like heat training? Have you ever been like the deserts or anything? Is this you're probably handling this really well, right, Sergeant?
I need to check canon real quick.
Oh no.
Really?
I don't think there's like, for example, there's a single amazing flying hammer brother in Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3. It's in the ice world. I don't think they've actually been found in desert areas.
I was also like on my way to Sarasa Land, so I was expecting heat, but maybe it's more the humidity that's really doing me in.
You were expecting like a sun hat on a patio with a drink in hand.
Yeah, exactly. And like someone, like a big palm frond fan sort of deal, you know, by a pool.
There are a bunch of palm fronds available closer to the jungle that you guys are walking by if you wanted to get something to keep yourself cool.
Fan myself? Oh, I guess I have my little short stack. She can fan me and walk at the same time. Seems so mean.
I was gonna ask, actually, speaking of which, about the foliage. Could you give us more detail about the tree line, as it were?
So, from your guys' perspective, you have the ocean to your right, and to your left, you have the tree line. It kind of very quickly converges from beach opening to thick jungle. You can't see too very far back in there. There's a bunch of leafy bushes that create like a nice solid line separating the forest from the beach. And the trees that have grown up to shade the area. This is, you know, palm trees, generic tropical looking kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Are there any fruit-bearing trees nearby?
There are no fruit-bearing trees that you can see along this tree line.
Damn. I am going to look down at Goomp, take off my helmet, and I'm gonna put my helmet on Goomp.
Goomp is like, thank you?
And I'm gonna point up to the sun. I'm gonna sign that it's to protect him from the heat.
And Goomp like gives this big like soppy grin. He's like, oh, thank you, and he's like really, really happy with this.
Aww.
And I'm gonna keep hovering forward.
You continue forward. Short Stack like shakes herself and she goes, "Okay, I can do this. Sorry, princess. I'm good. I'll be fine." And she starts trundling forward as well.
Somehow I believe you won't be fine.
Am I within earshot of that? Am I too far behind?
No, you can hear them. You're catching up to them at this point.
Okay. I'm actually I would, if possible, if allowed, I would like to pick up Goomp. I like to pick up Short Stack. I like to pick up the princess, put them all on my glider, and then hop off my glider and just have it follow behind me.
Aw, all right, yeah, sure. You pick up Goomp, who easily like just lets you manipulate him. He's used to this by now. He does like get like a shock of fear through his eyes as he looks at the water, like, oh no, not again. But then you just gently place him on top of your glider, and he's like, oh, I couldn't. You don't have to. And then Short Stack is up there, and the princess is up there. All of you have been bodily moved, and yeah, you're all sitting there. easily lets you manipulate him. Huh.
I cross my legs like daintily and then like flick my little adjust myself so that like the tails of my little outfit are like draped over the other side. And it's like, yes, of course, this is exactly what I want.
And
I am so smart.
With the flap of the wings from the glider, you do have some little wind kind of going to like fan you guys ever so slightly. So it's actually fairly nice on that glider right now.
Amazing.
And you guys continue heading forward. As you guys have been walking through the sand, you could hear the crunch of your feet moving across the beach, all 4 sets of feet as you went across. Now, all of you but one of you are currently sitting on a glider. So as you continue, you hear the crunch, 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 crunch of 2 sets of feet. And this continues for a second before it all occurs to you at once that, hold on, that math doesn't check out. And there should only be 1 set of feet walking unless Rama has suddenly become a quadruped. What would you like to do?
I'd like to turn around, like look behind us.
You turn around and you don't see anything behind you. All you see is empty beach, your footsteps, and the tree line.
How many footsteps?
You're gonna like count the footprints in the sand?
Yeah.
Where there was only 1 set of footprints, that is when Rama carried you on his glider.
Right. Yeah.
That was a religious joke.
Haha.
Thank you. No. You do look down, and from where you guys hopped on the glider until this point, thank you, Arya Zera, you get it. I
also got it.
Then why didn't you never mind, we won't go there. I don't want to know. From the point where you guys hopped on the glider, there is only 1 set of footsteps, but you all very clearly heard 2 sets.
Don't like that.
I'm gonna be on high alert, and I'm gonna tell Goomp to be on alert as well.
Goomp jumps around on the glider with the helmet, which is kind of like shifting to like cover his eyes every so often. He is also on high alert now. Nothing happens. You guys are looking around and nothing happens.
I don't like that.
Can I look just a surveillance around in the immediate jungle area?
So you want to like peer into the wood line, to the tree line, to see if you can't see anything in the darkness?
I kind of want to do like a bell curve with my eyesight. So start at the bottom, as I go towards the middle, look up, and then as I look further to the right, I look back down.
You look down and you see a series of bushes, big, leafy, and you don't really see any movement in there. You look up into the tree line. There's some swaying from the ocean breeze, but you don't see any movement of anything larger. And you look back down and, hold on, there's an empty spot in that line of bushes where there was previously a bush.
I'm going to silently, obviously, alert the group. And then I'm going to cautiously move towards those bushes.
Goomp watches you do all the military signs and nods and nods and nods, and is silent as he waits for you to do what you're gonna do. Shortstack pipes up and says, "Wait, what is he doing? I don't understand. Wait, what am I supposed to? Oh, sorry. I'll be quiet."
I put a little head on her butter pellet and I go, or butter pet, and go, when one is being stalked, one has to be quiet so that they don't alert the party that is doing the stalking.
Sorry,
that they know
princess.
they're being stalked. It's okay. Pat her little head.
She goes quiet. Rama, you slowly make your way up to the tree line, and you do see the empty spot where the bush was, and there are a set of small footprints in that immediate area. But it appears to come out of the woods, stand where the bush was, and then go immediately back into the tree line.
I'm just gonna take note of that if they're small footprints, and then I'm gonna go back to the group, explain what I saw, and just sort of not take that as a threat.
How do you go back to the group? This is a leading question, but are you going to back up so your eyes are still on the tree line, or have you dropped your guard and you're just sauntering back to them?
Yeah, no, I've dropped my guard. Like, I'm gonna keep that in the back of my mind. I'm gonna be like, okay, clearly there were small things here, but they're small things, so like, who cares?
I am watching in the way that like someone who is potentially used to being kidnapped watches when guards get on edge.
Rama's shoulders drop, and the rest of you see Rama walk over, already starting to sign like, oh, it's not much. Something was there, but you're just not gonna. And before Rama could even finish like explaining himself, you hear a series of those footsteps go, and the tree line bursts as a series of bushes, like big leafy bushes, hop out from the tree line. And they kind of stand in a line between you guys and the trees. And you can see as the leaves move upwards on the front of their faces, they each have a little pair of bright yellow eyes poking out. And they all stare at you, and they shake their bush leaves and make a little wee sound. Yes. There are 4 little bush creatures in front of you.
That went from very threatening to very non-threatening in like 2 seconds. They said we. I'm going to tuck Short Stack away. Short Stack is not designed for combat.
Short Stack starts screaming, going, "Ah, we're gonna die!" and then is immediately like put into your hammer space, and the sound cuts off.
I would never allow Short Stack to die. Melt maybe, but not die.
Oh my God.
Right. There's a line. The central bush that appears to be the leader makes a high-pitched, a little squeak noise, and the other bushes all jump into a V-shaped formation, and as one, the 5 bushes rush at you guys, with the lead bush kind of like spearing the charge. What would you like to do?
I'd like to get out of the way.
I wanna take a hammer out, maybe even 2 hammers out, and just badgers up.
Sure. First of all, Tegan, how do you want Princess Eclair to like get out of the way? You are currently sitting cross-legged on Rama's glider, which is hovering in place.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hop off the glider and then like move behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So like get further away from this situation.
Goomp,
that makes sense.
Goomp watches you get into a defensive position and like stutters for a second, trying to figure out what he's supposed to do. And like in his head, he's like, "Okay, princess being attacked. I think I protect her." So he jumps off the glider from the other side and like bares his like 2 Goomba fangs in what he thinks is an intimidated method. But then the helmet from Rama like slumps over his eyes, and he goes, "Oh man."
I'm gonna like reach under the glider and like pull it out of the way so that Goomp can see.
Goomp can now see, and he's very thrilled. Rama, you have the 5 bushes rushing straight for you with your hammers out. What do you plan on doing?
I want to focus all of my might on the head bush and just get ready to go to town.
Okay. Let's go ahead and pull down the dice. So you're just going to go to town? Are you going to hit him in a certain way, or just with both hammers just whammo?
Just whammo. Like, picture... Okay, you have hammers in both hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now move the hammer from your left hand over to your right hand, so you're holding both.
Okay.
Sort of like next to each other. That's how I'm holding the hammers, and I just want to...
Okay. That sounds good to me. Let me pull up the dice. So, you're going to get at least 1 dice for attempting. This involves hammers, so you get another dice, because your expertise is hammer. So that's at least 2d6.
Yeah. And now we're going to roll 2 3s.
Are you rolling for steel or spirit?
I think steel.
Steel? All right, so you want to get a 3 or under in order for it to be a success. That is 1 success. All right. So you...
Congrats on the success.
Thank you.
Congrats on the success. You bring your hand down that has the pair of hammers. Unfortunately, having to manipulate 2 separate handles doesn't actually make it any easier to hit things with a hammer. I should know. I have manipulated hammers, and having more than one in a hand is actually making it less effective. You do have the weight, so if you connect, it will do more damage to the intended target. But you unfortunately are not able to get that perfect between the eyes strike. You do bonk this thing on the head, and the force of it does cause him to crash into you, but not in a way that would have knocked you over. The remaining bushes delta split in 2 different directions to bypass you entirely, and they're flanking in on either side of the glider and the party members behind you. Tegan, you have two bushes coming from the left and another 2 coming from the right. They're trying to pincer you guys in.
Excellent.
What would you like to do?
I'm going to pull my sword out because I have a sword.
You still have the egg, just to let you know.
I do still have the egg, but the egg is in a papoose.
The egg is in a papoose. Okay, so the egg is
so I can still. My hands are free. But I do have the egg.
Okay.
I'm not going to endanger the egg, but I am gonna have my sword out. And I think I don't think I haven't done anything yet, so I don't have any what are they called? I don't have any coins.
You don't have any banana slamma coins.
No banana slamma coins.
No banana coins. You should have had some left over from... Why did the dice disappear? Hold on.
The dice vanished. No, I didn't. I checked the thing and I didn't roll my number at all last time.
Oh, okay.
I think Mocha might have 2, and I think I have 1.
Okey-doke.
Yes, this is true.
For the audience who weren't here last time, if any roll is the exact number of their stats, they get a token they can spend to do cool stuff later. That's how this game works. But Tegan has none saved up, unfortunately.
I have none so far. That's okay though. I think I am going to take my fencing sword though, and I'm going to use it to parry and sidestep out of the way of these things as they arrive.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Sure thing. So your goal is to react to them coming at you and get out of their way as they do. Yeah?
Yes, exactly. I basically want to olay them, if that makes sense.
All right. Would you reckon this be a steel or a spirit roll?
Yeah, it's probably a steel roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I think while I'm doing that, I'm going to, no, I think that's it, actually. Never mind. That's all I'm going to do. I think it's only 1 dice, though. Just 1 for doing.
Just 1 for doing, because none of your expertises really interact with this.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead
I
and
believe
roll.
in this.
Nope.
That is 0 successes, unfortunately.
0 success.
Unfortunate.
That's all right.
You have this whole idea in your head about how you're going to very graciously duck and dodge and swoop about. Unfortunately, you are on sand and you're also actively dripping because it is hot. Your clothes feel
also,
heavier.
I have an egg. There were so many problems with this situation.
Yeah,
frankly.
You are not used to fighting in these exact situations. You do manage to dodge the first one coming, but unfortunately you're too slow for the second one, and it actually manages to trip you over, and you fall backwards onto the sand, and you now have all 3 of the remaining bushes surrounding you. ignoring the one that you dodged in the first place. Goomp is actually
Amazing.
in Mortal Kombat with that one. He has pulled out his baseball bat and he is swinging for the fucking bleachers.
He's doing great. Goomp is so good.
He is doing great. He's actually managed to get a few hits in on that bush that you dodged. He's going bonk, 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 bonk. Doesn't really help you, though.
Nope.
Raglan, Rama, you have the one bush that you have smacked directly in front of you. Its eyes have turned like spinny because you did manage to whack it pretty good. But you do hear the combat happening behind you. What would you like to do?
I do as I go down, I do that scream of like, princess in danger, you know?
No.
You know one. Oh no, our princess, she's in danger.
Ooh, that's I don't know if that would actually... What's the word I'm looking for? It wouldn't translate well, so to speak.
Yeah?
Because, like, good. That's the goal most of the time.
Oh no.
It's the goal most of the time. Wait a minute.
That's a job well done, boys. Let's go get a drink.
You do remember that the princess is the one that has the egg that you were considering adopting. Does that change anything?
True. That's vital. So I'm going to do my original plan then. I'm going to take one of my rusty bayonets, hold it up to this tree's body, chin, neck, body, neck. I don't know, both.
Trunk.
Trek. And then I don't actually. Tegan, you might be able to remind me. Did I say that Ramo was like explicitly mute, or just that he signs?
You said that he signs. You said you pictured him as not speaking much, if at all.
Okay, because I couldn't remember if he like mechanically just cannot speak or not.
I don't. That's not how it came across. You just said that he primarily signs. Like, that was the vibe.
Cool. I'm gonna do all this and then, like, for the first time, make like this big rah sort of noise.
Goomp stops
just to get attention.
Goomp stops bashing its bush with a baseball bat and like turns to look at you, and the bush is like cowering beneath Goomp, like, no, please stop. But it also turns to look at you. The three bushes that were like surrounding the princess also all pause. They're going rah, 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 rah. They all pause and turn around to like give you their attention. But one like roars for a bit longer than the others and is like sheepish that it didn't catch on as quickly.
Amazing.
The goal here is I want to be as intimidating as possible and be like, look, if you don't cut it out, I'm gonna cut this leader out. If you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna cut them out.
Okay. I'm gonna have you roll for that.
Like, I have a hostage now, sort of thing. Can I use the distraction to like slip out from like where all these guys are?
Let's see how Raglan rolls first, and that will determine whether or not you have a chance to dip.
Ooh.
Sure.
You roll at least one dice
think...
for doing.
Yeah. I think this might be spirit.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like this sort of borders the line of like I want to play it cool, but then it's also like a really passionate thing that I'm trying to do.
Right.
Also, though, like you are, you're like a general in an army, so I feel like you would know how to be intimidating, even if it's not explicitly on your character sheet.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this is steel.
Okay. And how many dice do you want to roll?
Do I get an extra die for it being part of my profession, or
Sure.
is it just from my expertise? Oh,
why not? I'm feeling generous.
Go.
I'm feeling generous.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna pretend this bush is a princess, and it's just gonna be easy. Okay.
The princess bush. Yeah.
Shmam.
That is that is at least one inner spirit. You said it was going to be steel, you said?
Yes.
So you have one success, but that success is... So mark that down.
Yay.
Oh,
Yay.
banana.
Oh, banana.
With one success, you The bushes have definitely registered what you are trying to do, and you can see the little round yellow eyes shining from in their leaves turn into like the half moon eyes that show that they're angry. They're not pleased with this, and they shake their leaves in distaste. The one that Goomp was beating attempts to shake its leaves, but he's like basically a pile of mush right now, so it doesn't have quite the same effect. But they do slowly like lower their bodies down as though they are like submitting somewhat.
Pog.
Nice. Princess, you are still firmly surrounded by them, though. There's no way you could start moving without them realizing you're moving.
Excellent. Okay. I will not do that then.
Okay. All right. What is your game plan?
I'm gonna tense up so that I can get out if I see a situation to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm just like have my sword my sword, I assume, like, landed in the sand with me, so I think I'm just gonna, like, grab that and put, like, one arm around the egg.
Mm-hmm.
So I also don't lose it, you know? Just start crying.
Just start crying. That'll definitely make the situation worthwhile.
Absolutely.
For visualization purposes, they are, like, glowing yellow full eyes. I haven't specified, but I don't think you guys are actually gonna, like, interact with the character who names these. These are mimics from Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Ooh.
For those of you in the audience who understand that reference. But yeah, you have your dazed hostage that you're holding a bayonet up to, Rama. What is your game plan now that you've like gotten their attention and their respect?
I feel like there's two options here. One is I continue the front and I make it as intimidating as possible. The other is that I try and, assuming that these are like naturalistic, predatory, they don't really have deep, communication skills.
Mm-hmm.
In the best way possible, I could just try and like lower the leader down, take a step back, maybe like cup up some fertile dirt from the ground and like spread it on its leaves and just be like, look, we're not here to hurt you, so calm down.
So you're saying you could decide to do either of those is what you're getting at?
I think I'm more inclined to do the latter.
Okay, sure thing. So you lower the dazed bush down, and you're still close enough to the tree line that you are able to like reach back and grab like a handful of dirt and like spread it around your dazed captive without breaking eye contact with the group. And they do watch your every move very closely. They don't react to your ministrations, but the dazed bush does, like, in its state, register what is being showered in dirt and, like, kind of preens and coos cutely. But it's also had, like, a concussion, so its opinion doesn't really matter for whatever is going on here. The bushes shake their leaves, not quite as angrily as before, but their attention is all on you.
I want to motion to Goomp to just, like, slowly back off.
Goomp does just that, slowly backs up, doesn't move any closer to the princess, but kind of backs away. And the bush that it was beating jumps up and skitters over to its dazed compadre and tries to, like, start pulling it away from you.
Concussed adorably.
It is concussed cutely, yes.
I want to slowly, in its eyesight, like it can see me do this, slowly pick up another handful full of dirt and slowly extend it out in offering.
The mimic looks at your hand and looks at you and looks at your hand and looks at you and then looks back at its other brethren, and you see the other three like move their leaves in a way that assimilates a shrug before it looks back to you, and it reaches out a spindly stick-like foot, and it manipulates the dirt to take it from you and like disappear it underneath its foliage, and it just kind of stands there.
I'm going to very, very slowly and gently try and just pat it on its head and see if it is injured in any way.
You pat it on its head, and its body tenses up in the way that a cat that doesn't want to be pet does. Like, it's allowing this to happen, but it's not enjoying it. And you ruffle your fingers through its leaves, and you feel there is like a round body to it somewhere in there. It's hard and wooden-like. And when you make contact with it, the bush does like jerk backwards and start rustling its leaves again because it's very unhappy with that turn of events. But it hasn't attacked you again, so.
Alright, I'll stop.
What a doing? Oh my god.
Tegan,
Yeah.
What is the princess doing at this moment?
I think I'm gonna stand up. That seems like it's very much like what are we doing now?
When you stand up,
Good.
when you stand up, one of the bushes next to you immediately snaps attention back to you, and you notice as you are coming up from your knocked over position that its eyes are not actually focused on your face, they're focused on the egg.
I turn a little bit so that the egg's not like, so that I'm like blocking the little egg with my body. I'm like, hey, no.
It shuffles around to like try to get back into view of the egg. It wants the egg.
No. My egg, not yours. We have a delivery to make, and it's not to you guys.
The three bushes that were previously paying attention to Rama are now all turned back around and looking at you, and they shake their leaves and they go woo again. They start bouncing up and down, trying to like jump into you like excitable dogs.
No, bad dogs, bad bush things. Go away.
Gump says, "Do I start hitting them with a baseball bat again? I can do that. I mean, I still have it out."
I'm gonna stand up straight, sign to Goomp, be like, that won't be necessary.
Goomp lowers the baseball bat.
What do you mean it won't be necessary?
To like puppies.
Don't like puppies. I'm made out of like sweets. I don't like dogs.
Everyone audibly gasps.
I know.
We're canceling Princess
shakes their
Eclair.
head.
Princess Eclair canceled.
Doesn't like puppies. Can't believe this.
Doesn't like dogs. Mm-mm.
That's amazing.
Well, to be fair, like they could be a hazard to the dog. So it's probably for the best that I don't like dogs.
Wow.
Goomp hits the princess for that remark.
Oh, I don't like Goomp anymore.
Damn.
Rude.
But yes, the bushes are jumping up and down in a way that an excitable yellow lab doesn't realize that it's like going to knock you over. They're trying to get to the egg. They're hopping up and down with their wee wee.
I go like sit. I'm gonna issue a command, and the command will be to sit.
All the bushes include and Goop all sit at once. Just foomp.
Day, and then I like get out from like the group of them. It's like I don't like this. This is naughty, bad dogs, bad bush things.
The bushes don't move, and neither does Goomp. Goomp is just happily sitting there, like obeying your order.
Goomp, you don't have to sit. You're an independent mushroom.
Goomp hops up and looks sheepish before hopping back onto the glider. Like, yeah, right.
I'm gonna. If so, like from how high they were jumping, could they like get onto the glider?
Probably. They're not hopping up very high, and the glider is a certain distance off the ground. But I mean, if they tried really hard, it's a possibility.
I'm gonna climb back onto the glider and I'm gonna stand up on it so the egg is like much further away from them and be like, I don't like this. Why do they want the egg?
They all look at the egg with longing in their eyes, but they do not make any motion to come after you.
Don't like it. What the heck? Why do they want an egg? They're bushes. Also, isn't this supposed to go to the pirates? Maybe the egg is a bush.
I don't know. I'm just the DM.
You do know, because you are the DM.
Maybe the bushes eat the egg.
And we're back to eating babies. All right.
No! We weren't gonna eat babies, we were gonna eat the bird.
Goomp looks around, is like, so do we just leave now? We're not gonna fight? Okay.
Yeah. No, I think that's what we do. I think we leave. I think we go as far away as possible, as quickly as possible.
Goomp turns towards the bush that he physically assaulted, and like he can't wave with his hands, so he waves a baseball bat in sort of like a bye motion.
No.
And the bush awkwardly like waves a leaf back at him in a goodbye motion.
Aw.
And as you guys head away, like their eyes don't like break apart until after you've turned a corner and they're no longer in eyesight.
Oh, I don't like that. What if we never experience that again? Wouldn't that be great? This is the worst vacation I've ever had.
I'm gonna sign and just be like, yeah, that sounds good.
And,
why did they want the egg? Oh, I don't like it.
You guys continue on. Now I'm gonna press a bunch of buttons.
A bunch of them.
Yes, because I just realized that I didn't label which one is the scene for the next scene, so I think it's this one?
Amazing.
Oh, what if it spoils the next scene?
No, it's not that one. Hold on. There we go. All right.
Oh,
Go. Very nice.
Ooh.
that's a dilemma.
Press the banana button. What's a dilemma?
The river.
Water.
Ah, yes. You guys continue walking up until you reach the edge of the beach. There is a loud river that is rushing past you guys, heading out into the ocean proper, and you can see the heavy foliage on both sides. There's no good way for you guys to get around this river. Actually, Talks mentioned this river, so you know you're on the right path. You just have to cross it in order to get to the other side.
Ah, great. How fast is the water moving?
The water is rushing pretty quickly. Not quite White River Rapids, but like this is the end of like a river that like comes down from the mountain. So like the speed at which it is rushing out towards the sea, it's not easily swimming.
How wide is it? Is it like very wide or just like? Is it wider than when Rama threw Goomp earlier?
Yes, I'm gonna say it was wider than the distance that Rama threw Goomp previously. So you can't just make your way across the same. Yeah, no, I'm learning.
So earlier, Stitcher, I made a self-imposed rule that my glider cannot go over water. It's kind of like the hoverboards from Back to the Future.
You're telling me to press that button. It wouldn't be a goddess stream if I don't accidentally trigger a keybind without meaning to.
You just keep giving Mocha banana coins.
I do. They're definitely earning every single one of them.
So many.
Oh, banana.
I hope Mocha is keeping track of how many banana coins you've accidentally given them so that they can just do 500 banana slimmers at the end.
No.
Label your key findings? I don't know. Okay. Well, are there any like nearby small like rocks? Well, okay, I mean like fist-sized rocks. I don't mean like tiny ones.
Okay. Yeah, no. You definitely, if you want to look for like a rock that you want to throw, you could do that.
Yeah. I absolutely want to throw a rock.
All right.
Into the water.
You hop off the glider and you look around for a minute and you do see a perfectly sized rock on the shore, and you pick it up and you chuck it. What exactly are you trying to do with this throwing of the rock?
I'm trying to figure out if there's anything in the river.
Okay.
True.
You pick up this fist-side rock and you give it a chuck, and it goes a little further than halfway across, and it disappears into the water with a bloop. And for a minute, nothing happens. Just for a quick second, nothing happens. And then all of a sudden, there's a flurry of motion as a lot of small somethings under the water very quickly move to that location. The splashing goes on for like 5 seconds before calming down and ceasing to exist.
Okay, I'm gonna turn to my my companions and be like, so I was going to say that I can't get wet because I'm made out of pastry, but now I'm going to say I also can't get wet because I don't want to be eaten.
I'm going to consider all of our options, which are like nothing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to consider the fact that Princess can't be eaten, which is news to me. And I just assume everyone I come across can be eaten at some point. I'm going to step up to the water's edge, crack my knuckles, and get to work with my banana slammer.
Oh my. So first of all, let's explain what a banana slammer is. Every character has a banana slammer, which is a special ability similar to a final smash in Smash Brothers. Everyone here crafted their own, and they can trigger it by spending a banana token in order to activate their ability. So, Raglan, what is the banana slammer for Rama?
He gets on his glider, and he spins in a circle so fast that it causes a tornado, and the whole time he's like throwing hammers all left and right.
Okay.
So I'm going to use that to suck up the water into the tornado, and then throw the hammers into where the water was to make a bridge, and then have everyone walk across the bridge.
Okay, so
really interesting. Okay,
that's a lot to
hammer
unpack.
bridge.
That is one hell of a thing. So here's how this works mechanically. I'm going to pull down the dice. Because you spend a banana token, you automatically have one success. Any rolling you do to see how successful this action is, you automatically you'll do it. It'll happen. Rolling is to determine how successful it is, if that makes sense. Would this count as a steal or spirit, do you think?
I'm going to say, because it's my banana slammer, I'm going to say all my banana slammers are always going to be spirit.
Always going to be spirit? Okay. You get 1 dice for attempting it, and you have 2 expertises. What are those expertises for the audience?
Amazing flying and hammer.
I would argue that both of those apply. So this is going to be a full 3 dice, and you want to roll a 3 or higher for a success.
Yeah.
Raglan really did design like a character around one concept and has been using it to full success every single time.
Like, the race is literally amazing flying hammer, brother. So I was like, you know what? There it is, right there.
Raglan understood the assignment.
All right, here we go.
All right, that is 2 successes. One of them is an inner spirit, or a banana slammer, rather. So, banana. You get back the token you just
banana.
spent.
I got a refund.
And with the token you did spend, that is a full 3 successes, which means you get exactly what you wanted with no extra bells or whistles. So Rama hops onto the glider, and Goomp has no idea what's happening. Goomp is like, all right, well, how are we going to get across? And then you start spinning. And you spin, and you spin, and you spin. And Princess Eclair, you can hear Goomp inside going, whoa, 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 whoa. And this tornado of wind picks up around Rama, and the tornado slowly moves towards the water. The water starts getting sucked up into the tornado and spat out at the very top, spraying it all over the place. And as Rama moves further and further in, you notice that these red things are being sucked up from the water and spit out in every direction. A bunch of them fall back into the river to be sucked up again. A bunch of them are thrown into the ocean. A few of them land in the trees and disappear from sight. and one of them lands in front of you, and it is a red-scaled fish with a very heavy underbite and sharp teeth. It is a lockjaw, and it looks at you with like haunted eyes as it lays there in the sand, having just been yeeted from its watery home. And it's not even like trying to like fight you. It's just lying there like, what the fuck happened?
Oh.
As Rama travels from one end of the river to another, a rain of hammers comes flying out alongside all those fish and leaves a trail, a moat, or not a moat, a dam essentially, that bridges the gap from one side of the river to the other. And the water runs over it, but not at a height that would like sweep you away. And once Rama reaches the other end, the spinning stops. Goomp falls off and has like the spinning eyes from being tossed around so much. And there is now a hammer-based bridge going from one side of this river to the other.
Amazing. Okay, I guess I'm gonna walk across the bridge and the entire time be like, what the heck was that? I didn't know hammers had so many unique uses.
I'm just gonna stand there like proudly with my hammers.
Goomp is yarfing rainbows off in the corner of the screen.
Oh, poor Goomp.
There's a bunch of lockjaws just like flopping about on this side of the river as well, and a couple of them have managed to flop themselves back into the water, and they're snapping their jaws at you angrily for daring. But once you make it across to the other side, the force of the river actually hits the hammers hard enough that it washes the hammers away, and the river continues to flow.
Nice.
Excellent. Great. So we can't go back. Perfect. Unless you can do that again.
You solved my river puzzle, I guess.
In a very unique way.
I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad.
I don't understand how that worked, but okay.
You told us about this river, and I was like, this sounds like it'd be like a real struggle.
Real doozy of a problem. Yeah, I was like, how? I'm sitting here going, how on earth are we gonna get over there? And then you're just like, I'm gonna make a hammer bridge. All right, sure.
I'm not even disappointed, actually. I'm very impressed with the manner in which Raglan solved the issue. I just wasn't expecting it, so... but yeah, a lot of you leave the river behind you.
I'm gonna take a fish with me. That's gonna be dinner later.
Well,
Smart.
Okay, you grab one of the lockjaws and it immediately starts trying to snap at you. But because it is a fish and you have it by its tail, it's just flailing about and being angry.
I'm gonna assign to Goomba, ask if he wants one.
Goomp, which is just recovered from being yeeted all over the place, looks at the fish and goes, "No, I'm good. Thanks."
I'm gonna pick up a second one. That's gonna be also dinner later.
You now have 2 angry fish, one in each hand. Hey, thank you for the gift sub, Mocha. Doctor Who Stitcher, you get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Ahem. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bless Discord for nerfing the cowbell.
Mm-hmm.
Bless, 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 bless. Thank you so much. You got hit with an ad. Why?
Amazing.
After all you've done for me, this is what happens. I can't believe it. Oh yeah, Stitcher, you get cowbell now. Hot damn. Oh shit! Another gift sub to Mastermore 4. Holy shit! Thank you so much. You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell as well, Raglan. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Arya Zera, I did not get any notification that you resubbed. On my end, you might have, but Twitch has decided to not tell me because Twitch is an asshole like that. So imagine.
Do you see the ribbon on your name, though?
I do see the ribbon on the name. So you know what? There
More
we go.
cowbell.
More cowbell. You can never have enough cowbell.
Could
Thank
use
you
more
for
cowbell.
the resub. Thank you for the resub. Yeah, no, I didn't get any notification that you resubbed. I'm sorry. Raglan stealing Mocha's glory. How dare you? How very dare you?
I was extending the glory.
I appreciate it. All right. You guys continue on your journey. Oh, hello. Raglan then cheered 100 bits. Thank you so much, Raggles. I don't have a special event for bits because no one does bits. Would you like more cowbell? Is that something you'd like?
I'll take 100 banana coins.
Now... okay. One...
That was a joke.
Two,
no, that was a joke.
Three,
no, oh no,
four,
oh god, no. What have I done? What hell have I wrought?
He's like,
Oh god.
8,
oh, look, there's
9,
more bits. It's how you got 420 bits.
11, 12. I can't do 420 additional banana coins on top of this 100. We were at 13, 14, 15.
I just imagined
16,
God
17,
counting
18,
all of
19,
these out as like pennies.
You know what? You know what? How about I just write an IOU and I'll get you the banana coins later.
Sounds delicious.
Thank you guys for the bits. 420 from Arya Zara, 100 from Doctor Who Stitcher. Thank you guys so much. And we've activated a hype train. Holy shit.
Wow.
21, 20.
Wait, no, what about the AOU?
23.
Wait, the AOU though?
Yeah, okay. We'll give you the IOU. Just slide it that way. Oh, I owe you, or something like that, along those lines.
Wild.
But yes, I think if I press this button. Nope, that's not the right button. There we go.
That's the secret to becoming a god gamer.
Raglan pay to win. Yes, that's exactly how it works.
Amazing.
That's exactly how it works. The lot of you come around the side of this cape. You've left the river behind you, and you turn the same corner on the island as that ship you saw previously. And as you walk around this corner, you are greeted with the full vision of the shantytown. It appears to be a series of wooden buildings that have all been haphazardly slapped together. You can tell that there are like various ship parts. There's masts that are holding up overhangs. There's rope keeping some of the buildings visibly tied together so the walls don't fall off. You can hear a ship's bell in the distance and the various murmurings of people milling about in this area. You see a few of them walking around wearing generic pirate garb, you know, like shirts and pants and bandanas, all of them in various states of tatterness. And you see that they have built this village on top of a series of outcroppings, not unlike the craggy rocks that you hopped across to get to that lighthouse last episode. It's a lot larger than you were expecting, actually. There's actually a pretty decent level of development going on here. What would you like to do?
Do we see any like critter? I don't know what are they called?
You do see standing at like where the beach ends and the boardwalk begins. There is a very large, very buff crocodilian being who is standing there holding a very large club. Like the club is the size of you.
Oh.
He hasn't noticed you yet.
I think like instinctively I like duck down into the brush and I'm just like, ooh, don't like this. Actually, what if we didn't continue on this path?
I am not intimidated by anything I'm seeing, but I am, once again, I'm gonna go on high alert, because as much as you know my feelings toward these creatures, based on the limited information I have, I do want to suss out, like, what are they really like, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right, so you go on the high alert. Do you want to try to? You guys want to try to get closer in a way that doesn't let them see you, or are you just gonna walk up slowly? What's your game plan here?
I think my thinking right now is that if we don't even like try and be stealthy or secret or whatever, like in the social dynamics, it sort of shows that we're like confident. It shows that we have nothing to fear. And like if we try and be sneaky and we get caught, then they know that we're up to something. If we go in like we're not trying to sneak in, which like technically we're not, like we have no reason to fear these people as far as we know, then they will also approach us with like at most caution, because they won't immediately be like, oh no, they're up to something, right?
Right.
So just be like, who are you? At least that's my thought. Like there is a scenario where they are also on alert to just see random incomers. But
the gentle croc has that large club appears to be sort of standing guard, but like isn't like at attention. Like he's kind of slumped over a bit at his spot. Thank you guys for the hype train. Choo choo.
I'd like to watch somebody else like go in before I consider approaching, if that makes sense. I want to see like the process for like entering the area if you're expected. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, if you want to have like a stakeout and like be aware of like behind us as well. I could even watch the rear if we need to.
Yeah, I think a little bit of stakeout and then to like, so we can assess our approach would be good.
Yeah, I think we need more information right now.
Okay. Goomp is like matching your guys' nervous energy. Like when you went on the offensive, Rama, Goomp also started looking around like looking for danger. But now that you haven't like really done anything, he's just kind of like slumped over and just kind of waiting for you guys to say something. He looks around and then pauses and he goes, someone's coming.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna look. We'll look.
Yep. We'll look.
All right. You guys.
Are we like hidden?
All right, that's what I was going to ask you. At the moment, you guys are like standing on the beach. Like technically, you're in eye shot if this guy was paying attention.
Oh.
I'd like to be not in eye shot.
Yeah, I want to be in the brush, and I want to not only like if I have to choose between looking at the Crocs and looking literally anywhere else, I want to be making sure that we're not also ambushed. So like everyone else can watch the Crocs, I will watch us.
All right. So you guys quickly make yourselves hidden in the tree line, and just in time too, because once you guys get yourselves behind in the bushes, settle down from your rustling them, you hear the grumpy muttering of an elderly man come around the corner. You know, generic like "razza frazza," kids these days can't believe this. And what walks past your guys' hiding spot appears to be a short, bent-backed ape with a walking stick. He is using it like a cane, and he waddles past you guys, muttering to himself the entire time. And you watch him make his way right up to the guard, who straightens to attention once he realizes that someone's like there. You're too far away to properly hear their conversation, but the angry monkey is clearly having like words with this much larger creature. And after a minute or so of this back and forth, another critter comes up and seems to escort the ape further into the shanty town. And the large guy goes back to being like on the focus.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That seems fine, honestly. That seems easy enough, harmless enough. I don't think that was Cranky, right?
Yeah, that was
Okay,
for the audience's sake. That was definitely Cranky.
Cool. Alrighty. I think I can handle that.
All right.
I don't know if I can handle that.
Back, you turn to Rama to like have a further conversation, and you notice that like Rama's gone into that T-pose form again. Is like Bethesda glitching through the map, and Goomp goes
Amazing.
like, "Aw, not again."
It's all right. Bad connection. I got it. I think we can handle this. Goomp, between the two of us, I think we can do it.
Goomp looks at you with significantly less confidence than you are expressing, but like nods and waddles out of the brush.
Fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
I'm gonna walk up to the guard with like projecting that like you know, that like I'm supposed to be here sort of vibe. But even still, like, I'm going to stop, obviously, like, outside of the gate out of politeness. And I'm going to say, hello, we have a delivery.
The very large critter, now that you're up close, you can see it a bit better. It has dark green scales, a kind of a short, brutish looking snout with two fangs that come down a bit too far for it to be really comfortable. It looks like he kind of has like an overbite kind of going on. His club appears to be a large piece of driftwood with various knots and gnarls in it. It wasn't like made to be a weapon. It's just a big blunt stick that he has, that he's been using as a weapon. He's watched you walk up, and he's like at attention, but he looks as confused as he is large, especially when you mention that you have a delivery. And he looks at you for a second, blinks a couple of times, and then very intelligently says, "Huh?"
I'm sorry. I'll say that again slower. We have a delivery.
And the big critter blinks a couple of more times and looks at Goomp like very pointedly. And Goomp shakes his head back and forth and says, "No, not me. I'm a deliverer too. We're delivering something else." And the guard once again just blinks and goes, "Oh, to who?"
We have it on very good authority that someone here has wished for a child.
And
that's what we have. So
we're delivering you happy birthday.
Oh, the egg. Ryan forgot about the egg.
Right. The whole reason you guys are even in this area. The critter then turns and looks at the Bethesda glitching Rama and like tilts his head like, what? Huh?
It's impolite to address that. Eyes back here. Hello.
Oh, hello. My name's Clifford. I don't really know what to do with deliveries. We don't really get deliveries.
That's fine. I'm more informing you so that you know, so we can go in.
I don't know.
In case your boss asks us. Oh, do you not know? Can I speak to your manager, please?
You say that, and he looks like visibly excited. He goes, oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. And he turns around and then like visibly deflates, and he says, "You're gonna have to wait a minute. I'm not supposed to move from here, so we'll have to wait
You don't have to move from here. You can just tell us where to find your manager, and we can go see them."
He looks at you like you have given upon him the greatest wisdom he has ever experienced in his life. He like gets down on his hands and knees so he can be like eye level with you, and he looks you in the face and says, "You are so smart."
I like toss my like hair and I go, "I know."
Says,
Oh, you're a smart person just like the captain. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah,
The
that'll
captain
work.
would be excellent. Where can we find them?
And he stands back up, and he lifts up his huge club, and when he moves it through the air, it's effortless to him, like it's a walking stick to him, but to the rest of you, when he moves the club over your heads, you feel the wind from its movement buff it back into you, and it makes your hair flow back. And he points over to a particularly large-looking building further back, which is actually the same direction that ape was taken. And he says,
That's where the captain stays. She's talking to someone right now, but if you go there, you can let her know to come here so I can tell her to come get you. And
he like stops and like thinks, and he's like,
That sounds perfect. We'll go ahead and let her know to come up to get us.
Oh, okay.
I'll be right back. And I just walk past him.
Goomp like gets behind Rama and like is using his body to like push Rama so he slides across the surface. And once Rama's feet connect with the boardwalk, it makes this like rough wood scratching sound as he's like pushed across the grain. And Clifford just watches you guys go.
I'm gonna put Rama on his. I'm gonna turn around and like lift Rama onto his own little floaty thing so he doesn't scratch up the wood.
Yep, and you now have Rama on the floaty thing, and Goomp comes along with you. And Clifford, like, happily waves as you go away and then goes back to being a guard.
I'm gonna, like, side-eye Goomp and just be like, it's all in the attitude.
Good job, Princess Aclaren.
Thank you. We all have special skills. Yours is hammer, mine is being in charge.
You guys head down this rickety boardwalk, and as you're walking past, you can see that these various buildings are actually somewhat labeled. Various planks have been... Pardon me, I'm burping for some reason. Let me get a drink real quick. Also, I didn't notice it, but 3 minutes ago, Red and Bean followed us. Thank you for the follow, Red, if you're still here.
Reed and Bean.
Reed and Bean?
Yeah.
I was thinking Red, like in the past tense. You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Tegan, for the hydrate. Thank you so much. But yes, as you pass by, you notice that the... hello, dudes. Hello, Reed and Bean. As you guys pass these buildings, you notice that they are all labeled with various levels of quality of signage. There's like an obvious bar with the R backwards. You see the armory, again, with the R backwards. And you notice that painted in a red paint randomly, sort of like graffiti, is the letter K inside of a circle. The paint jobs are all very sloppy, they're all very drippy, but they have dried. It's actually fairly colorful for being a completely wood area. You make your way through the boardwalk, and there are other critters around in various states of pirate dress. You see a very small critter holding a cutlass that is way too big for him, lean around the side of a building as he watches you pass very suspiciously. There is a elderly looking critter wearing like a miner's, like a prospector's cap with an obvious bullet hole in the brim, just rocking back and forth in a rocking chair, and he stops when he sees you. And as you continue down, you're actually gathering sort of the attention of everyone that is in this town that just watch you confidently make your way towards the captain's quarters.
Of course. I'm used to having the attention on me. This does not faze me at all. I just keep going.
I'm going to covertly just keep an eye out.
Okay. You haven't noticed any of the creatures move towards you yet, but as you walk down, you do notice that you're collecting larger and larger amounts of attention as you go. You eventually do make it to the large building centered smack dab in the middle of this entire town, and you actually can see the ship that you saw previously is docked not terribly far beyond it. The sign above the door of this two-story structure says Captain's Quarters, but Captain is spelled with a K and quarters is spelled KWA backwards RTE backwards RS. The literacy in this area appears to not be ideal.
Too bad.
But there is a door, and there's no one stopping you from entering.
It's impolite to just enter. So I'm going to walk up to the door and like knock, but in a way that's like a series of like short, sharp raps.
Sort of like a...
Yeah. After a second, you hear a voice from inside go, who is it?
Delivery for the captain.
Oh! And the door opens. And you see a barrel just sitting right in front of the door. Like, not even in a position where, like, a barrel would naturally be placed. There's just a whole-ass wooden barrel just sitting by itself in front of the door.
I knock the top of the barrel. Knock, knock.
The barrel lid opens up and something from inside lifts the top off, and you see a pair of eyes glimmer inside the darkness. And he says, you didn't have to do that. I already heard you knock on the front door. Delivery for the captain? What do you got?
It's really for their eyes only, so I do believe you will have to direct us to their current location.
And he squints at you really hard. Actually, to the point where it seems his two eyes are like moving out of the barrel to get a better look at you, like in that cartoonish way. And he says, I don't know. Captain's already talking to someone.
These are quite explicit orders. We can come back at another time if that would be more beneficial, but it really is for the captain's attention, not yours.
And he goes, well, I can't really say no to a woman in authority, so yeah, sure, why not? The lid of the barrel is slaps down on top of it, closing it, and then the entire barrel is lifted up, and you see the knobbly knees of this creature as its legs pop out of the bottom of the barrel, and the barrel turns around and he walks away. And he says, and you hear his voice echoing from inside the closed barrel. He says, just make yourself at home. I'll go let him know you're waiting for her. And he disappears through a doorway into a back room. Now that you are inside this building, you notice that very similar to Tox's shop, there are a bunch of just random open crates just littering the area. Despite this being the captain's quarters, it appears as though it's also being used for storage of supplies. There are various empty barrels, various crates stacked up along the walls, and a bunch of pirate paraphernalia. You see like various like swords and cutlasses and a gun or two just kind of littered about.
Is there a pirate hat anywhere?
There is absolutely a pirate hat.
Amazing.
Just
doesn't
on
seem like a
shelf.
good place to raise a child. I'm just saying.
I would like to pick out the smallest pirate hat I can find, put it on Goomp's hat, and do a trade.
You do in fact find a small pirate hat amongst the various pirate hats. Most of them are not in great condition, but that only makes it better as a pirate hat, you know? So you do find one that has like the skull and crossbones, but you notice the skull looks particularly reptilian in shape, so that's cool. And Goomp is looking around awkwardly, like unsure of what he's supposed to be doing now that they're here. But you switch the hats really quickly, and he stops and looks up, and then his eyes like do that thing where like the pupil dilates because he's so like oh, I have a pirate hat. And you have your regular cap back.
Pog.
Amazing.
If Eclair would like to take an action, I have other things I'd also like to do, but...
I think I'm just like, I'm discreetly snooping in that way that like, you know, you look around a shop like, you just kind of like peruse the wares. Like I'm just doing that, seeing like what kind of stuff I can discern about like what kind of leader the captain is and what sort of state their current situation is.
You start looking, just like kind of glancing about, and you see the generic content that I've already described. But there is a small desk shoved towards the back of the room that has a series of papers on it. And as you're snooping, you look and you see something glimmer from underneath some of the papers. It's brighter and shinier than anything else you've seen in here so far. And it's also kind of a tealish color.
Ooh. Is it, and it's under some of the papers?
You can't quite tell what it is. It's like under the papers and like lifting them up, so you just see a glimpse of it.
Ooh. I'm gonna try to get a better look at it.
You lean over ever so slightly, and before you are able to really get a good look, the one thing that does blast through your mind when you see this is that it looks kind of like a piece of jewelry, but you can't tell what kind of jewelry. It just has that particular gleam to it that this was shined to be worn. But
okay.
what exactly it is, you can't quite tell. Rama, you said that you wanted to do something?
I wanted to see if there were replacements for my rusty bayonets.
Okay. There are no... The weapons that you see around here are all piratey weapons. None of them are of the same age or condition as the stuff that you found at Tox's shop. There are, like, a couple of random-ass daggers. They're all slightly curved like cutlasses, though, even though they're small enough to be daggers. So you think maybe these aren't actually daggers, you're just too large for the person who is made for these cutlasses, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of those, if you wanted to just take them, I guess.
I will replace one of my rusty ones with a cutlass.
You take one of the tiny cutlasses and put the rusty bayonet spear back in its place, and you look at it, and it looks like it doesn't belong there, but they probably won't notice. Or if they will, you'll be long gone by then, so whatever. It's cool. Rama be like, I think I'm about to steal! The millisecond.
To get Rama over here.
Sorry, could you repeat
Since Rama
that?
has such a... I kind of want to get Rama over here, because, like, he... since he has a perchance for thievery, and I am not a thief... You know.
Yeah, you...
I want to... Yeah. I want to be persuaded by that, but also it'd be real nice if I could also find ammunition for my guns. Like as I'm like ambling back, if I just want to grab some ammunition if it's just hanging around.
The only ammunition you see are cannonballs of various sizes. None of them would fit in your gun.
Damn.
I'm gonna like lean against the desk and like tilt my head back to indicate that there's something like on it that I want him to check out, and then like when people come into the room I'm gonna push off of it.
Okay. Once you get that message across, someone does actually in fact come into the room. It's the barrel Kremling again, who comes in, and he walks in with his knobbly knees, and the barrel slams down as he like goes into a resting position. But then the lid pops off, and he stands up. And based on like the length of his legs, combined with what you now see as the length of his body, he is at least 3 times as tall as this barrel. So he is definitely like real folded up when he's in there, but he doesn't seem to be bothered at all. He pops up and wears the lid of the barrel almost like a hat. His body is more of a sickly orange, and he's wearing a tattered vest. And he crosses his arms and looks at you, and he says... so I tried to get the captain's attention. She's yelling with the Krong in there. If it's really important, I imagine you just go in and, like, give it to her. Just ignore the guy that's yelling. I mean, he's gonna be there doing that for a while, and he rolls his eyes.
This is a normal occurrence for them, then?
Whenever one of the Kongs bother to come down here, it's because they want to yell at us about something. You know how Kongs are.
I absolutely know how Kongs are. Can you just show me to the back room then?
He goes, yeah, sure. And he...
I assumed, that the captain would be out here to greet us, but that's okay. I don't want to get lost in the captain's personal quarters. That seems a little, nosy.
Completely understandable. And the last thing the captain wants is to find out someone's being nosy in our stuff. And he...
Understandable.
He swoops back down to the barrel and stands back up with his feet visible again. And he turns around and he starts walking towards the back to lead you guys through.
Excellent. I'm gonna follow and like obnoxiously close, so that like the tails of my like outfit kind of block behind me.
Mm-hmm. Goomp, who is completely unaware of any of what's going on with you guys' plan, just happily toddles after you. completely oblivious to anything but his pirate hat.
What a good little goop.
Raglan, is Rama going to take this opening to figure out what it is on the desk?
Yeah.
How do you plan on doing that? You got a smooth move or anything?
He's gonna look cool.
Man,
I mean,
it's gonna look. There's no adjective associated.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Or adverb.
As they leave, you walk past them, walk behind them, a few steps back, so you can very covertly use your fingers to gently move the papers to get a better look. And what you see is a dark teal, almost like a turquoise jewel material that has been made into a necklace. The shape of the individual sections of this necklace are kind of blocky in its architecture. You haven't really ever seen anything quite like this, but it looks to be in pristine condition, and the light that comes through the window, grimy as the windows are, catches on it, and you can tell that this thing is very valuable.
One of my first invasive thoughts, I do want to emphasize invasive, was just, what if I broke this? What if I just smashed this to pieces?
Oh my.
That'd be funny.
Use your hammer.
My character has no reason to do that though, so Rambo will refrain from that invasive thought. He might want to steal it though for leverage if that needs to be a thing.
You make the call. I did not put it in front of you for the intent for you guys to do anything in particular. So if you feel like Rama would steal...
Can I very, very quickly steal a glance and see if Eclair is looking back?
Eclair, are you focused on distracting Barrel Guy, or are you looking back?
I'm like dividing my attention a little bit. So like I think I've positioned myself well enough that Rama's probably blocked. So I'm gonna turn down to Goomp and be like, and just be like, you can wait by the door, dear, but like look out the side of my eye to Raglan or to Rama.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hello. Yes.
And then I need to think of a very, very short phrase that I could sign. Like I want to succinctly ask, should I take this?
You just take?
Take? Question mark?
Steal? Question mark?
Yeah, I'm gonna just like nod a little bit.
All right.
Nod, but in a way that looks like I'm indicating, like from the front, that I'm indicating something to Goomp.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Barrel Guy has no idea what's going on right now. He's completely in the dark.
All right, I'm going to... You said it's under papers, right?
It's under papers, but like that was only to prevent you from seeing it. You can just take it and you won't notice. You're good.
Well, I want to take my other bayonet and do a swap and then put the papers back.
Ah.
So it's still like bulged in the same way? That's
yeah,
smart.
so it seems like there's still something there and that it's been undisturbed.
All right. Well, in that case, I will actually have you roll for that, just to see how well you're able to replicate it in the short like moment you have to make this swap. To see how to determine how soon someone notices a swap has taken place.
Okay, this will be steel.
All right. And how many dice are you rolling? At least one. Does this have to do with amazing or hammers?
It does not have to do with amazing flying, and I'm not using hammer at all. So, just the one for attempting.
Just the one for attempting.
I guess I could try and use a banana slammer, but I don't see how that would help in this situation.
Okay.
So.
And you said you were going to do steel?
Yep.
Oh, that is 0 successes, unfortunately.
Yep.
You do successfully swap the objects, but similar to the previous bayonet where you replaced it, it visibly does not look like it belongs there. The shape of this thing is not matched at all with the necklace you've just pilfered. But the papers do look like they're in approximately the same space they were, so maybe nobody will notice.
At least not right away.
At least not right away, no.
And the good thing is no one, I kind of did leave my hammers in place of the bayonets originally. So there is kind of
There's a paper trail.
You have trail.
you have to like go back a ways, but
They could probably figure out a way to pin it on you, maybe. Not the best crime, but it's what we have to work with.
That's all right.
Yeah, they don't know where those bayonets came from.
Yeah, not every crime has to be perfect.
The barrel Kremling leads you through a hallway. There are various other doors leading into other sections of this area. Due to the nature of these buildings, even the doorways are kind of ramshackle and not the right size. Some of them are larger than they appear to be, to need to be. Others are kind of like at an angle a bit, so you have to duck to not bonk your head on one side of the door. It's very, very weird inside these buildings. And eventually he does lead you to a staircase, and he says, just up the stairs, there's the doorway, you'll hear the yelling.
Follow the yelling. Understood. Thank you so much. And I nod to the little barrel.
He bends at the hip, so the entire barrel goes into a little bit of a bow, and then he turns around and walks back towards his post at the front door.
I was not aware that the barrel could bend. Excellent. All right, up I go.
You guys head up the stairs, and just like the barrel guy said, as you get further up, you do hear yelling. You hear the voice of the muttering Kong that passed you previously. He is now outright just screaming his discontent, and another significantly calmer feminine voice responding every so often that there is a pause. And as you get closer, you can hear him yelling very loudly phrases such as, I know you Kremlings have it. It couldn't be anywhere else on the island. You're always trying to hide these things from me, and this is far too important. Now you've got to fess up where it is right now. Do you guys want to go ahead and enter, or do you want to stay out here and listen?
I'm a listen for a second. I think listening is good.
Yeah, get that reconnaissance going.
I like gossip. Gossip's fun.
All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say some stuff, and you guys can tell me when you want to enter. All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess now I just roleplay with myself for a minute. That's cool.
Yes. Pog.
Pog.
I love it.
This is the shit y'all came here for. All right, so the Kong yells about how the Kremlings are hiding something, and the feminine voice very calmly but very firmly says, we have our agreement, and none of us are stupid enough, regardless of what you think, to go back on it this obviously. If we had the bundle, and it was yours, we definitely, and the Kong interrupts and says, of course it would be ours. Whose would it be? Yours? There's a tense silence for a moment. And the feminine voice says, that would change things, but it's not a possibility. And the angry voice scoffs. She says, regardless, we are all very well aware that our continued existence on this island is entirely of your goodwill. If we knew where it was, we would have immediately sent it to you. Now, if you want, we can help you look for it, but standing here yelling at us is not going to get you any closer to finding that. And at that point, Goomp steps forward and steps on a plank and makes a loud creaking sound.
I'm gonna knock on the door right after the creak happens, so it sounds like it's on purpose.
Masking it.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a pause, and a voice says, come in.
I'm gonna open the door.
The door opens.
Papoose plain in sight.
You open the door, Papoose plain in sight, and the door loud creak, and it slowly swings open. And what you see in front of you looks to be like the captain's quarters on a ship, complete with like the big grimy window in the back. You see that the place is ornately decorated with cloths and picture frames and various pieces of treasure, just straight up and down pieces of pirate treasure, just all over this room. And there is a large mahogany desk at the center. Standing in front of that desk, standing in front of the desk is the elderly Kong that you saw. He adjusts his spectacles at you very angrily before noticing what the package you have in your arms, and his eyes get wide. Before anything else happens, I will describe there is also a crocodilian person sitting behind the desk. And as you open the door, she stands up to twice the height of the Kong in front of her. She is wearing full captain regalia, looking kind of like a British sea captain. She has like the fancy double-breasted jacket. She has like the tri-corner hat with a bandana underneath it. She has a cutlass at her side and the white riding pants and boots. She stands up.
Oh, excellent. We have matching aesthetics then.
Very matching aesthetics, yes. She stands up and she's squinting in confusion at you, and she starts to say, who are you and what are you? And then she notices your package, and her eyes also widen.
We can answer multiple questions at the same time. That's fine. We have a delivery from a stork that we were directed to bring up here by the stork that got shot down. So, it is an egg. I don't know if that makes any difference to anyone here, but that's what we have.
The captain's hand moves up to her mouth as she like stifles a gasp, and the Kong, who had gotten this look of like intense hope on his face, immediately deflates and goes back to being angry. He yells, "What do you mean it's an egg?" And he stomps forward and like immediately starts trying to grab at the bundle. He goes, "Give it here! Give it here!"
Oh, absolutely not. No. Is he shorter than me?
Yes, he is shorter than you.
I definitely like hold it out of the way of him, and I'm like, "That's not how you handle a child, sir."
He waves his stick at you and says, "I've handled plenty of children. Hand it over."
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have been given a task by a stork, and I'm not just going to hand it over to someone who is being rude and grabby.
The captain... It's a lizard egg. Oh my gosh.
It's a lizard.
Pog. The captain is walking around the side of her desk slowly as if in shock, and she says, "Cranky, let them show us the child." And Cranky takes a step back and he glowers at you and waits expectantly.
I very carefully, still keeping the egg like up and like close to me, I very carefully like unwrap it a little bit so you can see it's definitely an egg.
And Cranky looks at the egg, and his head kind of shakes back and forth a little bit as tears gather in his eyes. And he says, no. And he looks absolutely distraught. The captain, on the other hand, looks overjoyed at seeing this egg. And she says, "And the stork told you to bring it here specifically, to us."
The stork gestured up the hill to this location. Yes.
And she has tears in her eyes of joy. But then she stops and lowers her hand as she realizes that Cranky is still here. And she looks at him with concern. She says, "Cranky, and he goes, "Bah! Have your egg. I don't care." And he immediately elbows his way past you guys and stomps down the stairs.
He is also expecting a child, I assume.
The captain finally gives you guys like a proper once-over and realizes just how bizarre the party actually is. And
Cranky is not the father!
Cranky is not the father. And the captain says, it's a bit of a long story. Won't you please come sit?" And she gestures towards some various ramshackle chairs she does have scattered about.
I'd love to. Is there a nursery you'd like us to drop the egg in, or do you just want to handle it from here? Congratulations, by the way. You're absolutely glowing.
The captain looks like she looks still shocked. She's like, we don't really have anywhere for a child at the moment, but yes, I'll may I hold the egg, please?
Yes, of course. And I tangle myself essentially from the papoose and help her put it on.
She puts it on and she looks down at this egg with reverence in her eyes, and she looks up at you with this big smile on her face and she says, "Thank you so much."
No, not at all. No problem. Well, minor problem, but not your problems, of course. What's going on exactly, though, dear? What's with the, why is that, Kong so cranky?
Ayo.
The captain, looks up at you as if she was focused on the egg, and she remembers that she's being spoken to. She goes, yes, well, I'm assuming you're new to the island, or at least to the side of the island.
New entirely to the island.
Ah, I see.
I am not designed for humidity or heat.
You may have noticed a bit of animosity between my pirates and the Kongs. That was Cranky. He was once the patriarch of the Kong clan. They own the island. They're the natives. This is their homeland, and we're sort of also new additions.
Immigrants or
well,
sort of happenstance vacationers?
She sits down and she says, "It's a bit of a long story. Our people follow a captain, and our previous captain brought us here under a situation that wasn't ideal for the natives. We have no desire to continue fighting the Kongs. Firmly established that they were dominant over our forces, and our captain was defeated in combat, meaning he is no longer a member of our crew. We remain to collect what belongs to us and remove it from the island, and the Kongs have allowed us to do that, but it's not ideal. It's still very tense." The Kongs in the past...
Understand, and you haven't been able to negotiate better terms?
No, they have allowed us access to the areas that we need to collect our... Well, our previous captain brought many things that our kind view as sacred and lost them about the island. Collecting them, finding them, regaining control of them is paramount to us. And as long as we only take what is ours and leave behind what is theirs, they are willing to allow us to stay here on this beach until our job is done. And she looks down at the egg in her hands and she says, "Neither the Kremling nor the Kong have had very prosperous histories as of late. The Kongs themselves have not had a child in many, many years. Cranky is rightfully disappointed that this delivery was not meant for them."
Are they expecting a delivery? Are there Kongs more than just men? I don't know how that works here.
She laughs and she says, "Once the Kongs were very prosperous. They covered every inch of the island. We can still find their ruins if we head far enough into the jungle. But their kind was almost wiped out in the last war before our captain took over. There are very few of them left, and the ones that are alive were born after the fighting. Cranky is the only one who remembers what their culture was. It is why he is so focused on the idea of having more members of the clan before he passes. But so far, no more Kongs have been delivered.
Sounds quite tough.
She laughs, a big jolly, heavy jolly laugh, and she goes, "Yes, tough is definitely a way that I could word it." Oh goodness, I'm sorry. I don't laugh at his
Motherhood brings a lot of stress. I completely understand. I don't understand. I completely understand.
She says, "This delivery is a sign, though, that the Kremlings have better days ahead. The stars wouldn't deliver a child anywhere that we were not wanted, and well, goodness knows that we would want a child."
Well, perhaps if Cranky can adjust his attitude, they will also get the child that they want. And maybe they'll be good friends. Who knows?
Perhaps. She says, "I am sorry. I haven't even told you my name." And she stands up again and gives a military-esque salute while still holding the egg in one arm. And she says, "I am Captain Lancaster of the Kremlin crew. And who are you?"
We are a group of people whose plane crash landed on this island and would like to leave.
Which is when I kind of intercept and I say, "My name is Vrama." I'm signing this all, of course. My name is Vrama. I am an elite general in King Bowser's army. And I am extraordinarily skilled in flying and using hammers. And I brandish some hammers in not only combat, but also utilitarian purposes, such as building. And I point towards the baby. I haven't done a nursery yet, but perhaps I could give it a try.
Are you gonna make a little baby crib? A little nest we can fill with straw for the egg? Adorable.
Lancaster, when you mention King Bowser, you do not see any recognition in her eyes. She has no idea who that is. But she pays attention to everything that you signed to her. And when you mention building, she looks hopeful and then very thrilled at the prospect. She says, "Would you really be willing to assist us? The men that we have here aren't exactly skilled with anything other than patching up a ship."
I reply, "I would be more than willing. I simply ask for food and shelter while I work."
She gives another laugh and she says, "Food and shelter. We're going to have a feast in your honor, if anything. Of course you are welcome to stay here as long as you need. Thank you. Thank you so much."
I want to get ahead of her and say, "Of course, but let's hold off on the feast until, at least for me at least. I don't want
building.
I don't want to be I don't know how to convey this properly, but I don't want to be paid until I've done some work. Like the feast for the egg can go on, but I personally I don't want to be paid until I've done some work."
She nods her head very seriously and she says, "I completely understand, but feel free to take whatever you need while you are here. We have plenty of food, though our building materials are limited. But by all means, I'm sure we can find a decent bunk for you all amongst the crew. Thank you so much." And then Goomp, who's in the back, at this point pops up and says, "And I'm Goomp." There's an awkward silence. And Lancaster says, "And it's nice to meet you, Goomp." And Goomp pulls out a toothbrush and says, what do you know about dental hygiene?" And Lancaster looks like taken aback. She's like, "We brush our teeth?" And Goomp nods solemnly and says, Good, and slowly puts the toothbrush away.
It's like a threatening toothbrush. I quietly sign. I don't know how you do that, but I discreetly sign that Goomp wants to be a dentist.
And Lancaster goes, nods. Is there anything else you guys want to like get out of this scene in particular, or can we do a bit of a time jump?
We can do a time jump.
Before we do the time jump, at some point, either before or during, I would like to transfer possession of the necklace to Eclair.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. That's not a problem at all. So the lot of you are taken out, and Lancaster seems to stop every single critter that she meets, including Barrel Guy, to show them the egg and like be like, they brought us an egg, and the Barrel Guy immediately like bursts out of his barrel. He's like, no, and she's like, yes, and he runs off, and all of those critters that had been like looking at you suspiciously were all like gathered outside with their ears against the door. So when Lancaster opens it, like they all fall in, and she shows them the egg, and there's like group cheering, and they run off to tell everyone. You are brought through the shantytown, and multiple pirates come out to like shake your hands and to thank you. They are treating you like you are heroes. Rama, are shown to where they keep all of their building materials so you can get started. Goomp starts telling some pirates like the stuff that he wanted to learn from his dentistry convention he didn't get to go to. The egg is passed around gently. They start singing various pirate songs, and someone starts pouring ale, and a whole party gets started celebrating your appearance and this egg. And during all the shuffle, at some point, Rama, you and Eclair do move past each other, and you said you wanted to like palm off the necklace onto Eclair.
Yeah, discreetly. Yeah.
You very easily managed to transfer that. Eclair, you now have the necklace. What do you intend to do with it?
I think it's very important that we listen to what Eclair wants to do with it, and we do not continue until we hear.
I didn't notice that Tegan had to use the restroom. Oh my gosh. You know what? Actually, let's actually have a real quick 5-minute break so I can also use the restroom. Raglan?
Yeah.
Your stream now. I'll be right back.
I'm back.
If you give me... Oh, okay.
I don't know what I missed, though. So go ahead.
What was the last thing you missed? Or what was the last thing you heard?
You were being shown to where you could build the thing.
Oh, yeah, that's basically it. I've palmed the necklace to you, so it is now in your possession.
Excellent.
I think the last thing Gata asked was what you wanted to do with it, and then
nothing. I'm just gonna stick it in my pocket for now. I'm not gonna take it out here. Are you crazy?
Okay, well now Gata is also not here, so...
Amazing. Well, that's great.
How's chat doing?
How's chat? Yeah. Welcome to our stream now. Haha.
Gata did say that, actually. Gata did transfer the power over to us. I mean, explicitly me, but I can share.
That's okay. You can roll this realm. I'm fine with that.
Pog. How's chat doing? Eating some ramen. Pog.
Excellent. 10 out of 10.
Not gonna lie, I did order Taco Bell. So,
You ordered Taco Bell recently or earlier?
In like the past 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I got 6 soft tacos.
Oh goodness, God is gonna be so upset.
I got 6 soft tacos and a frozen Baja Blast.
That's a lot of tacos.
Yeah, that's what I normally eat.
I had a London Fog, a venti dragon drink, and then 2 cans of Coke, so I was bursting.
Yeah. That checks out.
What should you eat for dinner? Pizza or ramen. Those are my choices.
Or both. Ramen pizza.
Ramen pizza would be better than pizza ramen, I think. I don't think like a
absolutely.
tomato sauce based soup would be very good.
Although you could do it with a flavor packet, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Like, that's a big maybe.
You can do cheese and ramen. I've seen it done before. You could do like pork sort of stuff. Tomato. The problem is, tomato-based like ramen broths aren't really like the vibe. You know, they do a lot of like miso broth or like soy sauce broth, but not really tomato broths. I don't think you could have. I don't know if tomatoes would be good as like a paste additive either, though.
Top 10 questions that science still hasn't answered.
Rocky answered it. Rocky spent like a whole year working on ramen tech.
What?
He did, yeah. Rocky's very good at it.
Hell yeah. Bruh, that's like one of my top regrets from college is I should have cooked more.
I cooked less in college than I did like at home, but I think that has to do more with the fact that my dorm kitchen and then also like the apartment that I was living in, that kitchen were just terrible.
For me, it was apartment kitchens being awful, and then also just not wanting to be around roommates because I didn't like most of my roommates.
Oh, that's fair. I was living in a really like a 2.5 bedroom apartment with 5 other people.
I hate that. So much.
They were all also like dudes, and it was just like me and a bunch of dudes. So it was great.
Yeah, I know what living with dudes is like, and I don't envy that scenario.
Have you lived with dudes that are like very into like culture stuff that you're not into?
I mean, so I went to nerd school, and so all the people I roomed with were big fucking nerds.
Oh, that's
and
fair.
I think
All right.
the only thing I can think of is like, and this might be sacrilege in this community, I don't super care about Yu-Gi-Oh! And I lived with a person who cared a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh! So I was like, oh, cool, haha.
All of my roommates like were super into Star Wars, and I was like, I have starred a war before, I understand. And then I just did not understand because I was like Star Trek. But very specifically, like they had all seen Back to the Future and like had memorized it. And at the time that I was living with them, I'd never seen Back to the Future like all the way through. I'd just seen like occasional snippets of it. And one time when I was in the shower, I slipped and slammed my head into the toilet, and they all ran over like to the outside of the bathroom door in a panic, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just fell and hit my head. I'm fine." And I was like, "I hit my head on the toilet, but I'm okay." And then all of a sudden, through like the top window of like our bathroom, because it didn't have like a vent, this like notebook and a pencil flew into the bathroom, and they're like, "Draw the first thing you think of." And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I did not understand at all. Yeah, exactly. They were like, the flux capacitor, you gotta draw it. And I was like, I don't know what you mean. You guys are being assholes right now.
Gee, Tegan, that's heavy.
It was dumb. It was big dumb. My head hurt. It was fine, though. I was fine. But that's what it's like to live with 5 dudes, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, I think the max amount of dudes I've lived with was 3.
It does hurt. Does hurt. Definitely. I'm just really glad, like, the, like, lid had been down and stuff, because if I'd smashed my head on, like, the toilet seat, I would have been really upset.
Yeah.
That would have been gross on top of being painful instead of just painful.
Welcome back to me, I
Nope.
guess. I meant to say
Yeah,
I am
welcome
back,
back, Adam.
but I said welcome back, which is like weird.
Welcome back to myself.
Welcome back to myself.
Welcome back to, my name is Goddess Stream now.
You're
no
all
longer Prince Dragon
welcome.
Stream.
That I have returned. I didn't have to, but I did.
We are. I'm happy you're back.
We talked about very serious conversation topics, such
Well, I'm
as
glad it was very serious. That sounds boring.
falling in the bathroom.
That is very serious, though. You shouldn't do that. That's bad.
I know it hurt. That's what I'm saying.
That's dangerous. What the fuck?
Yeah, thanks. I know.
God.
My roommates are idiots though, so it was fine.
Hot damn. All right. You had disappeared and I hadn't realized you were gone, so I like straight up like asked you a thing, and then there was silence for a second, and I was like, oh shit. Okay. So what was the last thing you remember me saying?
You were telling, you were doing the thing where like, they were showing the egg around, and like, Rema was being taken to like make the crib and stuff.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so at some point
and I was like, this sounds like a good time to go pee real quick.
Rip. During like all the festivities, like someone starts, so they start singing like pirate songs of joy. Someone breaks out the ale. A full-on party is like starting over the revelation of this egg and you guys, the fact that you brought them. They're basically giving you guys like the hero's welcome at this point. During the hustle and bustle, Claire and Rama pass by each other, and Rama very competently palms the necklace over to Eclair, the necklace that they yoinked. Eclair, what do you plan on doing with that necklace?
I'm gonna stick it in my pocket for now, and I will examine it later.
Okay. All right. During all of this, someone starts like a bonfire. Food starts coming out. Raglan, is Rama gonna immediately start work on that crib?
Yes.
What kind of crib are you imagining? I'm not gonna have you roll for it. Just like you make a crib. What does it look like? Describe it to us.
I want to try and make it very sentimental. Like I want to ask from like as I'm making this crib, I want to be like involving the community, and I'm like telling stories and stuff. And I want to ask people like, hey, is there any like special wood, if that makes sense, that I can like make this out of? Like, is there any particular like shipwrecks that had special meaning? And I want to make it like ornate, and I want to try and make it both like beautiful, but also a representation of this community.
Very nice. So
That's nice.
That is very nice. The few critters that claim that they're in charge of like the carpentry, for as much as one could be, obviously from based on the results, they do like suggest like, well, we have this wood here and this wood here. This one came from that shipwreck. Golly, don't even talk about that one. And one of the critters pipes up and says, we should put the Jolly Roger on it. It should be like its own little pirate ship. You know, it's one of the crew now. And they're all like, yeah, that's a really good idea. So in the end, what they request is basically like a vaguely boat-shaped crib that they can like they can paint on the sides of it the same kind of graffiti they've put around their town.
I might run the idea by the captain to see what she thinks, but if she okays it, then I'll do it.
She absolutely okays it.
All right.
All right, so you make a little boat crib. Someone finds like a small piece of a tattered black cloth, and they paint a very sloppily looking Jolly Roger on it and like poke it onto the back. Someone paints crib onto it, but with a K, obviously, and the R backwards. And a couple of them, in their slowly increasingly drunken state, come over to like scribble stuff onto the side of the crib in increasingly less legible English. Everyone kind of comes by and like puts a little something, a memento, on the crib before they put the egg in there, and yeah.
Beautiful.
Aww.
The sun begins to set, and the pirates start heading off towards the beach, past the boardwalk, to continue their revelry in a place that's a little further away from the child and anyone that may want to go to bed. The captain is still standing on the boardwalk next to the crib, with a couple of brutes that intend to like carry the crib up to the captain's quarters once she's ready to retire, and she is just staring down into it with adoration in her eyes. Let me press a button. Probably should have done the button first, now that I'm thinking about it. That's not the right
It's
button.
okay.
There we go.
I'll forgive you.
That's the night button.
A
That's
crib with a K.
yeah, a crib. Yeah. Yeah. I said what I said.
Amazing.
The captain says to you three, she's like, I can show you to some quarters for the night if you would like, or you can simply go out and enjoy the festival with the others. They'll probably be partying until dawn. Once they get started, they don't like to stop.
Quarters would be lovely. You understand how it can be.
And she says, I do. Yes.
I have thoughts. A lot of thoughts are happening in my brain, but they're also not at all happening in my brain.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean?
Many thoughts, none thought.
Yeah, I'm in a superposition of thoughts.
Okay. Tell me what it is you are considering. What do you wish to accomplish before we do the wrap up bit? Is there anything in particular you want to get done before we move on?
I want to plant the seeds of romance.
I'm sorry.
I want to plant the seeds of romance.
Ah?
But between who?
Me and the captain.
Oh golly. Gotta tucks his hair behind his ear. Oh, Raglan.
Mocha.
Mocha. Hot pirate captain coming in, taking your man. No.
This is Rama.
Correct.
Rama and Goop do not have a established relationship.
True. Very true. I'm joking.
Although there might be a jealous love triangle thing. We'll see.
Unless.
Haha, unless.
Maybe an actual love triangle. Haha.
Wouldn't that be funny? Haha, unless. All right. What do you... Okay. Sure. Lip bite, says Arya Zara. God.
Yes. You know what, actually, though?
Unless. Actually, though. What do you have in mind, Raglan?
I mean, this is a huge occasion. They've been gifted a child. Their wishes have been met. There is privacy. I don't intend this to be like, I'm not jumping the gun here, but if I could I keep saying discreetly, if I could gently, subtly, just persuade, maybe we could take a walk down the boardwalk and get to know each other a little bit more, if that's something that interests the captain. We could discuss plans on what the nursery is going to look like the building that the baby is going to be in.
The captain.
Yeah, obviously they need like a playroom and that sort of thing.
The captain shakes her head, but she smiles and she says, I think I should probably get to sleep. This has been a rush. It's been a lot. I did not expect our day to end with this. Rain check, perhaps. We can discuss plans for a nursery. And she clutches a hand to her chest. She says, we'll have to make it larger than just for one. If we're receiving one child, there might be more. And she looks choked up at the thought of it. She says, but we'll speak in the morning. And
I say absolutely. Get some rest. You've deserved it. Congratulations once more.
Tegan.
Yeah.
In your estimation, how accurate is Princess Eclair's gaydar?
I mean, she hangs out with Daisy, so fairly.
Yeah, you are 80% certain that Rama is barking up the wrong tree, as it were. And the captain is completely unaware of any sort of implications of taking a moonlight stroll down the boardwalk. She's just so focused on the kid and getting things for the egg that it hasn't registered that the smooth moves isn't quite... There's a miscommunication here, clearly.
Aww, I'm not gonna say anything about it. Just like, oh, this is cute, but we're not gonna be staying here long enough for this to have any like actual implications, so it's fine.
He can make a fool of himself. It's cool.
Yeah, just temporarily. It'll be fine.
Yeah, sorry, Raglan, but when I was like creating this NPC, the first thing I wrote down was Pirate Captain Lesbian. So like that's very firmly part of the character. And I'm like, oh no, oh
no. Well, good news. The original plan is still unfurling in the background. So,
Cool. What's the original plan? I want to know. Inquiring minds.
Oh, you'll see.
Okay. I'm gonna do that thing when I see like this is absolutely going nowhere. I'm gonna like do that thing where like I like reach under, so I'm like holding her elbow, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that we can like arm grip essentially, and I'm just like, congratulations again. I'm sure that this little egg is going to grow up into the best little pirate man they can be.
And she gives you a genuine smile and a nod. She says, well, we'll certainly do our best to raise them right.
Cute. So cute. Okay, bedtime.
The lot of you are shown to you are literally brought up into the ship that is moored out in the bay. And you are led down to a below deck where there are a bunch of hammocks spread out. You are shown to what appear to be like the best looking hammocks out of all of them. But they are still just bunks in a ship. And the captain apologizes and says, this is unfortunately the best we have at the moment, but you will have shelter for the night. And in the morning we can discuss any further construction you may wish. And, well, potentially a way for you to find a way off this island if you are intent to leave.
Oh, that would be lovely.
And she nods and she says, we will speak more in the morning. Thank you again. And she turns and she leaves. Is there anything else you guys want to do before we wrap up the game tonight? Any conversations you want to have with each other, or?
Once it seems like everyone is like thoroughly like party's in full swing, she's dipped, and we're like left to our own devices, I want to check out the necklace.
So you pull out the necklace, and like I described it earlier, it appears to be made of almost like a dark turquoise gemstone. Each of the individual sections of the necklace, it's very square in its design. It looks like the individual pieces are carved in a way that it would rest naturally around someone's neck and over their breastbone. And there is a large pendant attached to the center that is similarly geometric in shape, and it appears to be a stylized crocodilian body folding in up over itself to create like a little crocodile person, basically.
Oh, interesting.
Kind of like a zigzag. I don't want to say Aztecian, but like if you were like unaware of the actual specifics, so you would look at it and like, this is like generic fantasy movie South American.
It's like a square design as opposed to like a rounded design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. Cool.
It looks
interesting.
It looks very different to anything you saw in the treasure trove in the captain's actual office. You saw gold, you saw jewels, you saw various like bits and bobs of valuables. Nothing that you saw while you were in there looks even remotely like this.
Interesting. This is definitely a thing that is out of place then.
Yes.
I'll put it back in my pocket.
Is there anything else that you guys want to do?
Not anything that would be quick enough to do it before we wrap up.
Okie doke. We have 2 more sessions or so after this, so we can definitely have a talk about how to have... I really like how, Raglan, you have quietly established that your character has like a goal, and we can talk about how to make sure that happens before the end of the adventure for next week.
Yeah, I'm also in my head, I'm trying to think about how my character can do this goal without it negatively affecting the experiences of other players.
Right.
So that might need to be a conversation that we have.
before we go, there is one final scene that I do want to describe to you all, because I do love ending these things on, like, cliffhanger movie cutscenes.
The cinematics.
The cinematics. Yeah. It's important.
I love the cinematic end scene. I think it's good.
As all three of you in your hammock are looking down at this geometric crocodilian necklace, the camera fades out into a vaguely similar looking construct. There is a statue of what appears to be a very geometrically shaped dragon head jutting out of the tree line on the beach, a little further south from Talk's shop. You can see Talk's plane in the distance. A shadow crosses over the front and moves around in a weird way that it appears that it's manipulating something. The head of the dragon, with a groan, the rock against rock screeches as the head of the dragon lifts up to reveal a passageway leading down into the earth. And Cranky Kong, under the cover of darkness and with a scowl on his face, enters into the ruins and disappears into the darkness. But before the camera fades away to end this adventure, once again we see the shining bloodshot eyes of some terrifying creature appear in the darkness of the jungle behind them, and it lets out a menacing yet happy growl. And that is where we'll end the adventure tonight, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah.
I am glad. Thank you guys for joining us. We will reconvene hopefully next Sunday. We have 2 more adventures until the end of this campaign. And hopefully you'll be able to join us. Hopefully next time Mocha will be able to join us. I mean, Mocha was absolutely here the entire time, but maybe not a cardboard Mocha next time.
Super here in real life.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
exactly.
Looking a little stiff.
It's a little stiff. Arya's there. That's not how that works. But you know what? Let me. There you go.
Bring him back.
Bring him back. There you go. Fair enough. You earned it.
Huzzah!
All right.
Huzzah!
So I want to thank you, Tegan, for joining us tonight. You can find Tegan on Twitch, twitch.tv/impossiblecoin. She is 1/3 of a podcast about video games. So definitely give them a listen wherever podcasts are sold. Raglan, most of you come from Raglan, actually. Prince Raglan on twitch.tv. Are you streaming tomorrow, Raggles?
I am. Me and Aya, cough, are going to be playing Tetris tomorrow.
When is that going to be taking place?
5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. I'm getting the band together, and we're going to play a couple of rounds of Among Us, and we're going to be timing it just so we can do that without bumping into your time. We'll probably end up raiding you, actually. So come bother us for Among Us tomorrow. Same farmer time, same farmer channel, and then we'll all go over and bother Aya and Raggles.
Hell
blast.
All right. I will see you guys later. Oh, thank you for the subscription. Now I see the resub. Thank you, Arya Zara. You get a jolly jangle of the cheer bell. Ahem. Thank you. I love watching my Discord guy not light up because Discord's like, oh shit, he's ringing the bell again.
Amazing.
Love it. All right. Is anyone that we know streaming right now?
Aya's
rating? Streaming? Yeah, sure. Let's go raid Aya. Let's go say hello to Aya. Was it /raid? It is.
Yeah, it's /raid.
Yeah. Trash baby Aya. I think that's correct.
You can tell Gada is a professional streamer because they totally know how to raid.
Shut the fuck up. Let's go bother Aya, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Thanks
Bye.
for having goodbye.